What is up, everybody? It's your boy Damien. I am really excited to bring this to all of you. So I got to walk around town, sit down, give a guided tour with our boy Mack from Cardiac Arrest. And this was a new format for us. I wanted to try something a little different. So I just got done doing Final Bout, shooting Final Bout video and stuff. And I had all my gear and I was like, okay, instead of sitting down and doing like a podcast just at his house, why don't we go around a little bit? So he took us around the town. He took us around some cool historical areas. He took us to his work and gives us a tour. And this is wild. This format was really neat. So we got to get like a glimpse inside of Mack's head, but also Mack's life. And I think it's really, really interesting. Something that I want to go and do more of. I think this is going to be a great format. With that being said, it's a new format. So I did have to learn some things, and I've learned a lot. One, I'm using the Osmo Pocket 3, which is an amazing little camera, and I found out that it can do a lot more than I thought it could do. The only thing with that is I had Mack mic'd up with the external, lavalier style mic, and I was going to be going through the Osmo's actual audio recorder itself. That being said, that would normally work, but there were some things and some settings that I was unaware of that made it really hard to sync the audio up. In fact, I was shooting at 4K 60, not necessary, and it doesn't do well with 4K 60 audio recording from handheld to DJI, the external mic, apparently. Either way, I wasn't able to sync those two audios up, so I'm a little softer. I'm mainly using the mic from Mack's shirt to get a good audio source, and it still works. I'm just a little quiet, but I'm not the star of the show anyway right now. This is all about Mack. So I edited it the best I could, and I think it's pretty sweet. But going forward, I think this is gonna be a really, really cool format. If I can get to somebody and be able to walk around town with them, or they can show us, their workshops, their cars, like all that stuff, I think it's a really cool format. So I'm learning from this, and I'm glad that I got to experiment and do this with Mack, who is a longtime friend and a very, very big asset to our show. He is awesome. So, I just wanted to say this is cool, and I wanted to say if you have any suggestions, or if you like this format, please let us know in the comments. Like, it would be very, very cool to get some feedback. So regardless, I'm going to be buying another microphone and making the audio situation better for future stuff, even just for other style videos. So I'm working on that. But besides that, do you like this format? Let me know, please, because I think going forward, I would like to explore this a little bit more. So we had just a few audio issues, and then at the very end, I am a dumbass, and because I was shooting 4K 60, the SD card filled up, and I had to finish the show using my phone. You may be able to tell the difference, you may not, I don't know. Either way, enough of me fucking rambling about stuff. I'm just excited, so let's jump into this. This is Mack. This is the Mack Attack. Aside from our guest episodes, the Pile Up Podcast is highly visual. Please do not watch and drive.
Tonight in the same alone, everybody knows black wheels are dumb. Shiny pants, shiny shoes, and some wheels. Playing games in the chat is so real. Rich rarely ever gets on. Surprised we even put them in their song. Real in the background making reels. All the Instagram nerds getting in their fields. Release us from this feeling. The chat is always screaming. Smash chat store, smash chat store. Welcome to the Pile Up Podcast. The podcast is the worst. Welcome to the Pile Up Podcast. The worst podcast on earth.
Pile Up Podcast is brought to you by the Smile Death Network. It is a lifestyle brand bringing you all sorts of swag, stickers, hats, apparel, pretty much anything that we can sell that won't get us put in jail. But you should check us out at www.smilexdeath.com. We also support the podcast by selling the podcast merch, and we are home to Car Shop Kuroshi. That drift team sucks, but you could buy their shit if you'd like to.
Do you need a really fucking sick livery for your drift car? Maybe you just want a bunch of stickers to throw at people. Hit up New School Vinyl for all of your adhesive back laminated vinyl needs.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Damien. You all know this handsome gentleman.
It's your boy
Everybody,
Mack, you know me.
If you don't know him, now you do. Mr. Cardiac Arrest in the flesh. We are in his hometown of Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Great place.
Wisconsin. And we're gonna go. We're just gonna have a day.
Yeah.
Just spend a day.
Show him some famous spots around town.
So let's do some stuff.
Yeah.
Let's start walking.
Yeah, we're here on iconic Washington Ave in Oshkosh. I was telling Damien that Oshkosh is a town built on lumber and manufacturing. We're right on the Fox River, which is one of the biggest rivers running through Wisconsin. I'll probably, on the way out to work, we'll drive by it was a lumber mill converted into apartments now, and there used to be lined along the river with them.
Yeah.
But this also brought a ton of craftsmen to the area outside of lumber workers, and you'll see in the background, this street is full of beautiful homes everywhere, and every house has its own character and is a little bit different than the one next to it. And back in the day, this is the street all of the rich people lived on. It's going to get crazier and crazier as we get down the street, and it's kind of like a little bit of flex on your neighbors, but it really gave the
Flex on your neighbor.
it really gave the craftsmen an opportunity to shine here.
Okay.
And you'll see like just the newel posts and the trim running around the top of this house over here, for example. It's like just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And
Beautiful. It's very, very peaceful.
yes, it's nice and quiet.
Right now. Super peaceful.
Yeah, and the lake is right at the end of the street. We have like one of the biggest inland lakes in the United States from a square footage kind of perspective.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know,
Here, hold this.
if you guys don't know the trick about getting extra range on your car keys, you just hold your keys up to your mouth, kind of click it, gives you like an extra 100 feet of range. It's crazy. If you don't believe me, try it. You'll be amazed. Let's see.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Trying it without.
Did not. Under the chin? Under the chin.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You saw it here first. Myth busting.
Science.
We're myth busting here, dude.
Yo, myth bussin'. I don't know if I like that.
Hey, we got to keep it relevant for the Gen Zs or whatever.
Gen Zs. Yeah, super quiet, very chill neighborhood.
Yeah.
In the good old Oosh Goosh.
So I was saying the lake that we got at the end of the street, which we'll get a peep on. We'll go to even more scenic location later. But at the end of the street here, we've got a lake that's like, I think it's like 50 miles long, 20 miles wide.
Okay.
Huge square mileage.
Yeah.
But it's like an average of maybe 10 feet deep.
Okay.
And I think at the deepest point, it's like 14 or 16 feet, very shallow lake.
Yeah.
And it's full of a fish called sturgeon. Maybe you've heard of it.
I have.
You have heard of it?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
a lot of the best caviar in the world comes from sturgeon. While the sturgeon itself,
that.
beluga caviar.
No, I'm not a
Never heard of that?
Not a caviar guy, but
I'm not either, but I watch a lot of
never tried it.
people eating fancy food on YouTube, you know, so I've heard of some things.
Makes sense.
But a lot of caviar comes from sturgeon.
Okay.
And
No shit.
here, this lake is world famous for sturgeon.
No shit.
Yeah, every year they have a 1 weekend long fishing season for sturgeon.
Yeah.
And the way that you fish for these things is crazy. You dig a, 5 foot by 10 foot hole in the ice, maybe 3 foot by 6 foot, however big you feel comfortable with. And all these people have these trailers that have drop floors in them.
What?
And they drive these trailers out onto the ice. It's crazy. I have a clip I'll have to send you. Maybe we can pop it into the podcast.
Yeah. I like
I have a drone clip flying overhead of hundreds of people out on the ice.
Jeez.
Fishing.
That scares the shit out of me.
And they
but
pop.
you said it's not deep.
It's not
not
deep.
super deep.
It's not super deep.
Right.
And because it's not super deep, the ice can get really thick.
Oh, okay.
Like
that makes sense.
if it's consistently cold, the ice can be multiple feet thick. It's like
Right.
pretty safe.
Yeah.
They, at certain times of the year when it's consistently cold, they'll actually build a road that cuts across the middle of the lake,
Oh my god.
and it cuts out like a half hour of drive time.
What? That's
So
pretty crazy.
I've never done it.
Yeah.
I think I'm a little bit too scared.
It sounds like that's a thing in Wisconsin. So when we were at near the track, in,
Yeah.
how do you pronounce it? Shawano?
Shawano.
Okay. The person, there was somebody who was like, "Oh, you're going up to the racetrack. Did you ever stay for the ice racing?" And they do studded tire
Totally.
racing and stuff.
Yep.
And that's like really cool that they're taking advantage of using the lakes because they're right
Oh, yeah.
here to do other cool shit.
Recreation 365 days
Yeah.
a year in Oshkosh
I like
for
that.
sure. This is
that.
one of my favorite.
This house looks
These
sick.
couple of houses are
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of my favorites on
Yeah.
the street. It's just like, what is this doing in the middle of rural Wisconsin? We're a town of 60,000 here, just over 60,000. So,
Yeah.
you know, it just goes to show that you can have a house like this on this street. And most of these houses are, you know, approaching 100 years old, if not older. This one's obviously a little bit more modern.
Right.
But there's plenty of houses like that one over there, I'm sure is,
That's very like an
1800s.
Italian mafia style. I like
yeah, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like that we just got off of Final Bout.
Yeah,
So we both just did Final Bout,
yeah,
media.
yeah.
And then we're here walking through the town looking at old architecture and housing. I love it. I love the diversity of humans. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool. And also, we're not really going to talk about a lot of drifting stuff. We're not going to talk about Final Bout. So
Yeah.
if that's what you're expecting, you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
This is going to be a look into Mack. A deep dive.
Get ready for it.
Correspondent Mack.
Get ready. You guys are diving in.
We're diving in. We're actually just going to go to the end of this lake and just drown. So
Yeah, yeah. It's like a packed thing that it's like there's blood involved
Right,
and stuff.
right.
Gee, it's a whole
Fake.
thing.
But no,
You don't want to know.
I like the roof on this one.
Yeah, copper. You know.
I love copper roofs. Yeah. I like the corner house.
So the one next to it, I like even more because it's got a giant boob on the top.
Oh, we love boobies.
And just to think of it, because you know, if you follow my stories and stuff, you see I'm doing woodworking stuff all the time, and building a shape, a volume like the top of that house right there,
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine.
and making this house is definitely 1800s.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
To make that stand up to the test of time for that long is
Right.
wild. And like you look at this house, right? If you look at the arches, look at the way that they laid the brick in those arches, like herringbone style with
that's
the,
wild.
you know,
Yeah. Hopefully-
it's over the top.
Hopefully, that comes through on the. I mean, if it's not, I can zoom in. It's 4K. So
It's like you can really see the craftsmanship in a lot
Yeah.
of these houses. And even on this house that we were just looking at over here, like the molding that runs around all of the windows, that's all hand painted and everything like that. And the way that the stonework is done in the arch. And if you even
Oh, yeah,
look,
the
there's
arch is cool.
there's stained glass in a curved window.
Right.
The window is not flat.
yeah.
And like even that, it's like a little thing where you just don't see that in a lot of modern homes.
It's all in the details.
Yeah,
All in those details.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's sick. Oh, I can see the lake from here.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was curious because, you know, I'm a fat guy, so I was like, are we walking like miles or...
So, well, maybe now that I'm thinking about it, we can get to the end of the block and you get a little
Okay.
tease of the lake.
Yeah.
Then we can check out Main Street.
Okay.
And then we can go to the scenic spot on the lake.
Okay. I like that.
And then check out a couple of spots going through town.
Cool.
Just while we're driving.
Yep. Yeah, because we're going to
And-
periodically stop, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up talking to Mac about his life growing up, and video, and photos, and inspiration and art. This is going to be a whole dealio. So, an expose, if you will. I don't even know what that word means.
Yeah, I hope you're ready for the ride, you know. This one's another really cool house. Also the
like that.
property just beyond the house, like
Yeah, they
we'll
do.
see they put up a fence recently, it looks like, but the property goes back a ways and is like really cool looking, like
Yeah.
pretty big.
Oh, I like it. I like old stuff.
Yeah,
I like things that are old.
yeah.
You want a face track? I don't want face track. Stop face tracking. I have to turn that off in the settings. I I like that I can get both of us in frame.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. And like your arm isn't even like far out at all.
No, not at all. We could get crazy. Cool.
Yeah.
So what got you into woodworking and all this stuff? What was the start of that?
Well, I mean, I probably like,
And how long have you been doing it?
well, I kind of fell into it. Look at this apple tree that we're walking under too, by the way. There's full ass apples growing on that.
Full-ass apples.
I got a pretty big apple tree in my yard too, so I
That's sweet.
noticed them things.
Full ass apples.
Full ass. Yeah, that red delicious, you know what I'm saying?
Fucking funny. So woodworking, did it?
It like definitely wasn't like a planned thing by any means, but maybe subconsciously
Okay.
it was there.
Might have some chainsaw activity.
Yeah, you know, let's just cross and walk back. You know, we've gotten another.
Chipper. There's a little bit of blood in that wood.
Yeah. So we could even. Do you want to walk back up this street, or do you want to cut down the street and walk back another street?
Whatever you want to do.
No, let's walk around the block. I can't guarantee the next street will be as cool, but it might be a good strong juxtaposition. You know.
I don't even know what that means.
Strong contrast.
Okay.
You could say.
Okay, gotcha. We'll get jumped and murdered.
It could happen, you know.
Oh, great.
You know, I mean, that could happen anywhere to anybody,
That's
really.
true.
You know, anytime you get in a car, you're
I'm
really
strapped.
taking a risk. So,
We're good.
so my mom is interior designer.
Yes.
So she had her own firm growing up, and then she did her own independent thing for a long time. And as a result of that, you know, if I was sick from school or something, I'd end up going with her to a client's meeting maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe we go down to this place in Chicago called the Merchandise Mart, which is one of the biggest buildings by square footage on the planet.
Okay.
It takes up a full city block, it's 7 floors, and it's all stuff that you can buy for your house, basically.
Oh, no shit.
Bathtubs, draperies, carpets, furniture, accessories,
Right.
anything you can imagine, but you pretty much have to be an interior designer to get in there. And
somebody.
yeah, like you
Yeah,
gotta have
yeah.
credentials and stuff.
Okay.
So I'd go in there and get to see all of these beautiful showrooms and
Yeah.
just be around it. So maybe like subconsciously that influenced it, and like a core memory for me. It's not really furniture related, but it's related to the interior design thing. My mom took me to a show house, which is for certain interior designers, they'll take one house and let every interior design firm do a room in the home.
I didn't know that. That's pretty sick.
So it really gives, it's like an art display, right?
Sure, but
like a
like a-
gallery, if you
Yeah.
will. So gives everybody a chance to show off. And this one that we went to, I remember walking in and being so blown away. Every wall in the room was painted like a sky with clouds. And in the middle of the room was a golden harp, and that's it.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, man,
Yeah. You're getting artsy.
some people live like this. I think it was like
Yeah,
in
yeah.
4th grade or something. So that stuck with me. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
I mean, the roots get,
Yeah.
dug in sometimes and we don't even know. So
Yeah.
that's cool.
But I'd say it kind of like the furniture side of things sort of came up just generally through college.
Okay.
So originally, I went to college for architecture. That's what I thought I was going to do. But the school that I went to Iowa State University. The design program at that school, you don't have a major your first year. They take all the design students.
Yeah.
You take 4 of the same classes,
Okay.
and you build a portfolio of work from those 4 classes, and then you have to apply to the program that you want to get into. It's sort of a ranked choice thing.
Right.
If you don't get into what you want to get into, you have the option of, maybe you get into choice 2 or
Okay. Sure.
whatever.
Sure.
So that was a plan because they have a very well-known architecture program. And they had a program night at the design school where all the different programs get to show off, this is what you could be doing, sort of a thing.
Right.
And
I like that.
the year before I started, It was actually the year that I did start. It was the first year of the program. So I wasn't in it, but there was one class ahead of us. It was the first program of industrial design that the university had. And for those that don't know, industrial design is essentially problem solving through design.
Oh,
So
okay. Is that like load bearing and like stuff?
not
like
exactly.
that, or
It's more so
space?
think of a shoe designer,
Okay.
car designer.
Right.
I mean, problem solving can kind of be a loose
Okay.
thing, but it's also designing with manufacturing in mind,
Right.
and like taking advantage of new processes and knowing how to move things through efficiently, because it's one thing to come up with an idea for something, but then having to fabricate it
Right.
in mass.
Yes.
There are some things that are very difficult to do or easy to do if you have a lot of money up front.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So it's a whole thing. So through this program night, I saw this, and we're looking through the stuff that they're doing, and it's just like drawings of hair dryers and hair curlers and baby bottles.
Yeah.
And I was just like, the thought never occurred to me. The door handle that you touch on the door, somebody put the time and thought into
Right.
thinking of what's going to be comfortable to use, or maybe they didn't, and you've used a door handle where you're like, what the
This fucking
hell is
sucks.
going on?
Yeah.
They probably had an engineer do that, not an industrial designer.
Gotcha.
So we're like the hybrid of an engineer and an artist.
Okay. Oh.
Like we're
Explains what you do.
totally. So I have a lot of like
For the poop. Oh, that's not a poop. It's
walnut.
Yeah. Smell it.
Yep. Lots of flowers around here. So like I started learning 3D CAD when I was in college at like 18 and a half, 19 years old.
Yeah.
So I've been doing it for a long time, and I know CAD better than a lot of engineers do.
That's awesome.
But I didn't take all of the like math and physics classes
Gotcha.
that the engineers take. It's more like I'm more of like I could do that stuff, and I think about maybe if I was going to go back to school like mechanical engineering or something like
Right.
that. But I'm more of like, if I look at it, I'm confident that it works.
Yeah.
Like that should be okay. And like generally speaking, industrial designers will work on things to a point, get it looking right how it wants to, and then they'll hand the look to the engineers, and the engineers will figure everything out.
Right.
The engineers
The right function, the right
Exactly.
weights, the right materials, or whatever.
yeah,
Okay.
and we may be in conversation with them,
Yeah.
and they hand us a package of materials, if you will. This is the battery size, this is the motor size.
Right.
Like you got to work around these things.
Yeah.
And then they'll take it and integrate all the mounts and stuff like that. Or if you know what you're doing, because I mean, it's like everything. There's some basic rules, and once you're in the club, you know what to do. The right industrial designer can do everything and basically be able to hand it off to a manufacturer and
Yep.
click go.
Yeah, that makes sense. No shit.
So there's a lot of ways to do it. And when I saw,
Yeah, you took that influence.
yeah,
Subconscious, because you didn't really know.
so
Mended you into school.
yeah, and then I ended up getting an internship at this company through one of my professors. He was from Santa Barbara, and he's like, he knew I skateboarded, and he's like, I know these guys in Santa Barbara, they have a half pipe in their design studio.
Okay, I love it.
I'll put you in contact with them, and like,
Right.
let's see what happens.
Okay, sick.
So I ended up having a summer internship at this company in Santa Barbara, and it was pretty, it was a pretty awesome experience overall. It was a brutal summer of work, not making a lot of money,
Right.
but I got to have my hand in some pretty cool stuff, and
Left.
yeah, because we're gonna go to, we're going to more locations.
Hope somebody gets triggered while we're recording and does something dumb.
Yeah, right on Main Street it could happen. There's some crazy people over there. So yeah, I got a lot of really cool opportunities, and a big thing that I spent, let's let this turd go by. Rock star. The big thing that I got to work on that summer was, you know, Bono, U2, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
He has that charity, the red charity. Remember, they made all the special edition iPods and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
right?
And then didn't they
It's like a,
he like got involved with them big because he like forced everybody to have his album on the one. Remember that? That was
well, it was like his, I think it was like his thing, you know, generally speaking. So I don't know, but anyways, like they did a lot for, I think, by helping. I think maybe AIDS was their main thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But every year they would do a charity auction and put together a collection of goods to raise funds for their charity to do the work that they do. And the year that I was working there, they had a collaboration of designers curate the selection. One of them, Mark Newson, very well-known product designer, very sculptural in the way that he does things.
Yeah.
And the other half that they chose is a guy named Johnny Ive. And this guy has impacted almost every one of your lives, whether you know it or not.
Oh, that's neat.
Lead designer at Apple.
Oh, gotcha.
Forever.
Right. Yeah.
I do not believe he works there anymore, but for like 20 years,
Wow.
every product Apple has put out, he's the guy.
Sure.
So he was the other half, and on this project, they co-designed and produced 2 one-off objects. One of these objects was a Leica, I think it was like an M6 or something like that. I'm not very well versed in Leica, but a one-off Leica camera. One of one body,
no way.
completely never to be produced again. $1 million camera.
I was gonna say, if not more,
Totally.
priceless because the
Priceless.
right hand. Right.
And beyond that, these were the first 2 objects that Johnny Ive had a hand in designing outside of Apple since he started there.
Okay.
So big deal outside of
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
And the other object is this monolith of a desk machined out of solid 6061 aluminum, 450 pounds, you know, massive cantilever overhangs with these like super thin organic, there's not one flat surface on the thing.
Yeah.
And the tabletop is the only flat surface and is made up of about, I think 140 unique shaped tiles that were all individually anodized. Can hang right?
Go over the left.
All right. They were all individually anodized, and they were done in a way where when the table came back together, if you were drawing on a piece of paper with a pencil, you wouldn't pick up any of the lines in the individual tiles.
Wow.
Like
Yeah.
crazy. So I pretty much finished
Artistic.
by hand myself that whole thing. Like I hand sanded, polished. I spent my whole summer working on that thing. But that was like my real introduction to furniture. But it was really cool because the thing ended up selling for like almost $1 million if I remember correctly. And then like that gets doubled by other donors. So it's like, wow, this is crazy.
No shit.
And then I went back to school and I kind of did my senior project with furniture in mind because that's what this place was starting to get more into.
Yeah.
Do furniture, audio, a mix of design objects.
Right.
And then I moved to California.
I did not know that.
Yep. I lived in Santa Barbara with them for a little over a year after I graduated. And Santa Barbara is just like really crazy expensive place to live. So, and I was not getting paid fairly, as many designers know.
Right.
Look at this, more apples. And they got a lot littered.
That's crazy.
So after that, I ended up moving down to LA, and I lived in Los Angeles for a little over a year as well. And I started working there at a custom office furniture company.
Okay. See,
And
that's cool. I only thought that you did that stuff here.
no, so yeah.
Also, yeah.
So basically, like big companies, right? They're trying to fill an entire building with furniture.
Oh, geez.
They can go the route of a company like Herman Miller or Knoll. Maybe you've heard of, maybe you've not. They're like 2 of the biggest furniture manufacturers on earth.
Okay.
Definitely all of you have interacted with one of their pieces of furniture.
That's been created.
Yeah, for sure. And that kind of goes back to the industrial design thing. We're the people that touch everybody that don't know it.
Right.
You know, like
That's wild. Yeah.
my guilty pleasure when I'm older is I'm gonna like creep around a Walmart or something and watch people like pick up things I designed and like and like run away. You think this perv? And I'm like, no, I just designed that toothbrush, I swear.
That's pretty funny.
Anyway, so people would come to this company and they could buy something out of a catalog from one of those two companies, or they could come to us and get a one-off suite of furniture designed to their liking for a similar price point. Because we had our own manufacturing facility and the way that we did things and the network of manufacturers we had in the Los Angeles area, we were able to pull things together in tight timelines and do it custom.
That's pretty crazy.
So while I was there, I worked on like one big project, which was a 5-story building, 150 plus pieces of furniture. I think like 28 unique designs within that, multiples of each. And this is like anything from a reception desk to a conference table to a gang of 12 desks where every desk can raise and lower independently.
Oh, that's cool.
And you know, I'm like making the
That's neat.
sheet metal drawings for the file cabinets.
Yeah.
I'm sending drawings to the steel fabricators to weld up all the bases for this stuff, telling the wood shop what to do, and did that for a while, and again, got caught by the expenses of California living, and was just basically like, I'm not gonna ever be able to buy a home of my own out here.
Right.
And you know, I was kind of having some conflict, had a review, and they were basically like, you're doing great, we just want to see you work harder. And I'm like already working 60 hours a week, had the biggest project the company's ever had go off smooth, and like didn't even give me a raise. So I was like, see you guys later.
Let them out.
Yep.
And then that brings you back to this.
That brings me to
area that we just
here.
took a big, nice stroll around.
Yeah.
That's probably what, 2 blocks, 3 blocks?
Yeah, something like that.
Like that.
And
Nice introduction to the town, and then how. And this is where you grew up, correct?
No.
No.
I actually grew up in Illinois.
Illinois. Okay.
So I grew up 0 to 13.
Okay.
To like basically the city.
Right.
Just outside of Chicago city limits to the north, called Evanston. Northwestern University is there.
Okay. So 13 you moved here.
Nope.
Oh.
13 I moved to another town in Illinois called Woodstock. And that's where, have you ever seen Groundhog's Day?
Of course.
Woodstock, Illinois. Not Pennsylvania.
Not Pennsylvania.
Yeah, so we almost bought the bread and breakfast. That was a house that we looked at when we moved there because it was in such disrepair that it was
what's that for
cheap.
Groundhog?
Yeah.
Forget the Pennsylvania groundhog's name. Damn
Puxatawny Phil.
Yeah, fuck you.
You should know.
Phil.
Come on.
I don't care about that stuff enough.
And when I was in college, I lived in Sweden for a little bit, but maybe we'll get into that at the next stop.
Jeez, Mac. All right, well, we're back to the vehicle, so we're going to move on to the next stop and keep doing stuff with the Mack. So we just walked through the little main road, the main strip of Austin.
It's actually called Main Street, Damien.
Main Street. Main strip. I like strip.
I'm
call the mayor. I'm changing this shit now.
I went to this karaoke bar in a trailer park one time in Madison.
Okay, this is be good.
It's actually, the road it's on is called Sirloin Strip.
Oh, that's perfect. I love it.
Yeah,
That's
it's pretty
cool.
awesome. It's pretty
That was really cool. That was would you say it's getting like kind of built up since you've been?
Yeah, I've been in Oshkosh for like almost 9 years now, and the main street's definitely like improving a lot over time. Like you saw, the city's great about like supporting local artists. Oh, we didn't see the back alley. When we get dinner, we can check it out at night because I think that's gonna be
lot of art, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah,
as an artist myself, and in all sorts of different ways, I really appreciate that.
Totally, and they're like very about helping low-income people. There's a lot of like good quality low-income housing right on Main Street as well.
Yeah,
they just built a little tiny house village to help the homeless population get on their feet, help them get a job, start paying rent, get their own apartment. But yeah, it's improved a lot over time. New restaurants popping up. We're going to go, I'm telling you now, we'll check back in on this later. These are going to be the best cheese curds that you've ever had.
Ooh,
so
snap. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
so
a challenge.
we're gonna do that for dinner and maybe check out some other little pieces of art around town. But yeah, it has changed a lot since we've gotten here, and also hasn't. It's kind of like one of those places that's stuck in time a little bit.
Yeah, it has the vibe. It has like
know?
a nice old school vibe with like modernization happening, but like on a good scale.
Yeah.
It's not just completely gutting a building and putting a Starbucks.
Yeah.
It's like utilizing what's already there.
Yep.
If a new business is coming in, it's very important. That's cool. And then you brought up something about a underground railroad where they used to travel and take dragon eggs to Mordor.
Yeah, something just along those lines.
Okay.
So we get some pretty brutal winters here sometimes. A couple of years ago, the month of February was like below zero, maybe 12 out of the 28 days in February.
Yeah.
So way back when they were building Main Street. Now, I haven't seen this with my own eyes. I've been told about it. There's a book about it. But the basement floors of all of the buildings on Main Street all connect to a center road below the street, so that in the wintertime, way back at the beginning of the 19th century, 20th century, whenever,
right?
Yeah, probably 20th century. People could go shop without having to go outside and deal with all of the elements and stuff. And from what I've heard, a lot of the stores on Main Street, if they're not using it for extra storage, they may rent them out. I've heard there's some artist spaces down there and studio spaces and things like that. So it's on my list of things to check out at some point, but it's kind of one of those things where you gotta like know somebody.
Yeah.
And
I hope it's just this crazy illegal gambling, cockfights, both chicken and wieners.
Yeah, definitely
and just some
crossing
weird
swords.
blood sport stuff. Illegal body part manufacturing. I don't know what that means.
Yeah,
but I just made
Lidneys. Lidneys. Lidneys and hungs.
I hope it's fucked up.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Awesome. So
yeah.
let me know.
Yeah, I'll check it out and let you know how it turns out. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So we got into how you got into like some of your woodworking stuff, which is really, really cool. And if you've never seen any of his stuff, make sure you go check out, plug for his Instagram at car.diac.
Underscore arrest. It's stupid, but if you just look up, just type in cardiac arrest like how it's normally spelled, and I'm usually the first thing that pops up.
Yeah,
so like you don't need to deal with the stupid spelling.
But yeah, when you put some of that stuff, it's really neat.
Yeah.
I hope any viewer that's interested and curious to go check it out and add you and be blown away from some of your wood stuff.
At a lot of the events that I've gone to, dude, I got some hard wood. I'm gonna show you my hardwood later, dude. Long stuff, dude.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like you think Pinocchio, he ain't got shit.
So no, it's really cool. I love one of my favorite things about doing any type of like interviews or podcasts, which basically is an interview. Like that's what we're doing. It's just free form. Like there's no set questions for some of them. It's finding out cool stuff. Now I knew a lot of cool stuff about you because we became friends early on. So I already knew about your woodworking and stuff. But like, it's cool to put it out there in the world so that others will know. Like especially somebody that's like not, because I've had so many people that have watched one of our podcasts and the response that we get from the podcast is on something not automotive at all. They're like, oh, I didn't know that this guy was into Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
I have a huge collection. And I'm like, wow, dude, you're nerds. You should fucking kiss under the McDonald's arches. But it's really cool because it shows another world, because we're all into so many other things besides drifting. But this is what brought us together. So I really like it. So it's really cool. So now I want to jump into, because this is going to be a little bit of a long, I feel, part. Okay. Is you're an artist.
I guess.
No, you're an artist.
Okay.
You are, I'm going to say, one of the most influential photographers since I've been doing drifting.
That's crazy.
At least in my eyes, because, and I can say this with confidence, because I see so many people mimic or try now your style that, and we've talked about your style before. We talked about it when we had you on one of the other podcasts, how, you know, you adapted from this and this and this, and you taken on to it. But I've already been seeing, and it's awesome because you're influencing these people into trying your art style. But the influence has run rampant, and I know for a fact I can count on my hand. Actually, I can count past my hand of people that either are super influenced by your stuff, or they're doing what they're trying to do and learn how to do your craft that you've seen. I mean, you've honed it. Everybody says like you've perfected the exposures, and you know what I mean.
I guess.
No, you have. And you're a humble man, but you know, there's so many people that already say that Mack is the legend. You
That's
know,
crazy
you're
to
a
me.
legend. And it's, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know,
I
it's
mean,
definitely cool. But I want to know where it starts with. The main thing is photography. That's what you are known for. That is how I met you.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to know about.
Yeah.
You know? So,
yeah.
and we can go into this now. We can go to a different area. It's up to you.
I mean,
You want to start it now?
I can start it now. We can
Let's
walk and
start
talk. We can get
That's up
into
to
it
you.
here. It doesn't matter
I
to
like
me.
this location. It's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
we can keep chatting here.
got,
It's pretty nice. Very
This is
serene.
Pretty romantic. We
Yeah.
were just at a lighthouse. I just crossed a bridge that was made of spiders
Yeah.
to get there, but then we got over to a lighthouse.
Yeah, dude, spider webs are like stronger than steel.
Yep.
You
yep.
know, so
Yep.
it's
If
new
the
thing.
Twin Towers, okay.
Jet fuel and spider webs, man. That's good.
So yeah, so break me into the world of Mack as a young artist, as a young man. What got you into photography?
Well, I think I've been doing like art and creative stuff again since I've been young because my mom's an interior designer.
Yep.
You know, she went to art school. She was painting when she was a kid. So I've just always been around it and doing stuff like that. And really my first foray into anything like that before photography even is when I got into high school. I took a graphic occupations class where our high school was really cool, where we had an auto shop, a wood shop, a metal shop, an electrical engineering
At the
lab
high school?
at the high school.
Wow, that's-
Very like vocation focused kind of
Yeah,
high school.
that's
So we had a full service graphic lab with, you know, like a 7-screen press. We had vinyl plotters, and this was in like 2005.
Jeez.
You know, we had a dark room. We had like lithograph presses. We would do all of the anything the school needed as far as like T-shirts, print media, anything like that. Like we would kind of take care of internally, right?
insane.
So I was doing that, man. When I was by the time I graduated high school, I had easily printed like 5,000 T-shirts. Tons.
Yeah.
So that's where I really got into like exploring more art stuff, because the
Yeah.
computer stuff for me, like, oh, I can make like adjustments easily and like perfect things and get them how I want. So like I dove into Illustrator, and I did a lot of Illustrator stuff in school, and like to this day, if you go into the graphics lab, like we put our like we were like making memes before memes were a thing. Like there's a photo up in there of me and my 4 friends in 2005, and we photoshopped our biceps to like look huge, and we all have like muscle shirts on, and it's just like stupid shit slapped in the top corner, like, and just in a place where you couldn't get it down unless you wanted to get up on a ridiculous ladder. Stickers all over the place. So that's where I really got into it, and we did take a film photography class
Okay.
in there where we got to develop our own black and white film and do all of that. But you know, even before that, with photography specific, like that class is where I developed a lot of like art sense and appreciation for all of that.
Was
Even
that the first time you held a camera too?
no.
Okay.
So first time I held a camera, I got to give like a huge shout out to my grandma. Like
Oh, Graham.
always had a disposable camera.
That's so cool.
Always. Like
Yep.
I have so many photo albums, like from 0 to, you know,
Yep.
recent, just because she always has it. She develops them, makes
That's
a set for
incredible.
herself, sends a set to
Yeah.
whoever's in it.
Yeah.
And it's like her way of connecting. So, you know, she'd always give us the disposable, run around, shoot stuff like that. And, you know, when I was like probably, I don't know, 7 or 8, I tried to buy my own camera at, God, it was probably like Walmart or something like that. And I went with my mom. And I thought I was buying a digital camera.
Oh, no.
But me, as like a 7-year-old, thinking I could get a digital camera with like 20 bucks.
Yeah.
You know, I bought a film camera.
Oh,
and, you know, I didn't ever really use it, but I kind of like faked my way around with it and whatever. I probably put a couple of rolls through it or whatever. But then that film class in high school definitely like kind of inspired me to like pick it up again a little bit more. And even before that class, I think I actually got my first real camera before that class. I got my first job in high school to buy my first camera.
No way.
Because when we moved to Woodstock, I didn't really know anybody or whatever. And unbeknownst to me, world famous skate park in this town, indoor skate park.
That's awesome.
Produced some very well known pro skateboarders. For any of you guys out there, like I grew up skating with John Dixon and Chaz Ortiz. I knew Chaz since he was like 8 years old. So name drop. But that's like how I made all of my friends. And you know, I'm sure a lot of you guys that are into drifting are also into skateboarding or BMX or whatever, and you can attest to like the community and how it is. And then another big thing about skateboarding is, you know, like the teaching the will to get back up after you fall down, but that's a whole other conversation. But you know, a big part of skateboarding is, in action sports in general, is like the filming. You know, you got to prove you did it. You want to look cool to your friends. You want to put a video part together. And like a lot of my best friends growing up were like top tier skateboarders in the area, and like also really great filmers and photographers and stuff like that. So shout out to my boy Danny Pazminski. Like, I still watch his videos that we made back then, not only because they're nostalgic, but because man, they're so good. And like, maybe I'll have to send you a link to check it out, because really cool editing style. And they were doing everything back then on the DV, like the mini DV tapes, but still doing like crazy stuff in After Effects and like all this stuff. And this is again back in like 2005, you know, it's like early on in that stuff. So I wanted to get a camera so that I could go out and take pictures of my friends while they're skateboarding, because there's somebody out there filming, but there's not really anybody that's like taking too much pictures. So I got my first job in high school working at Kmart. You know, I was riding my little BMX bike to work and shit. And then I
worked at Kmart.
Yeah, I bought one night.
Third shift.
Wow.
I thought I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I should just go make money instead of just being up all night doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I went and I was like, I got this in the fucking bag.
Yeah.
Literally went through like the orientation, which was during the day.
Yeah.
They gave you a couple days until night shift to start.
Yeah.
I couldn't make it into like the second hour. I was so tired because I was actually doing something. Yeah. Not sitting on my ass eating pizza and playing video games. But anyway, keep going. Fun fact. Walmart sucked for me.
I think I worked there for like 2 years maybe. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I worked there for a while. But I know that I just did everything, you know, general laborer.
I can see
and
that.
The store that I worked at went under while I was working there.
Oh.
But the guy that was like handling the liquidation was pretty cool. I mean, I don't know if he knew this or not, but I hid shit all over the store until it was 90% off. And then like I bought a bunch of stuff when it was really cheap. I bought a PSP and like 10 games for like $80.
That's amazing.
It's like brand new. Yeah. That was pretty sick.
Break the system.
Yeah, I bought some like jewelry and stuff. You know, it's pretty awesome. I think I was like, yeah, fuck it, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But I bought a Canon T1i.
Okay.
Way back when. So for all of you now, they're probably like on the T10i or something like that. So I bought that way back when and had like pretty basic setup, but I would just still back then like. I have some photos where I'm like taking flash photos, but I'm using gels in front of the flash and like coloring things up different and like
so
even back then,
it started with skating.
Definitely started with skating.
You trying to add flair to the skate shop.
I think a little bit, you know, or trying to, you know,
stand out,
capture it and make it look cool. Cause like that's what skateboarding, like any skateboard magazine, it's all about like the cool factor. And like skateboarding influences so many different parts of our culture just because of like that cool, like crazy factor to it. So I think that that's like definitely a big influence on the photography thing. And you know, getting into college, I was still taking photos, but probably not quite as much, you know, just to
Yeah.
sort of like document stuff around. When I was a freshman, I was in this program where like they picked a handful of kids to document the freshman year, and
Yeah.
like, I'm not trying to be biased, but my shit was definitely better than the other people that were doing that. And even then, dude, I was doing crazy stuff. I was like doing tilt shift photos, like in Photoshop of the football stadium, making it look like miniaturized and stuff.
Yep.
But that was like in 2010, so that's like still pretty like kind of early on in that stuff. So it's subconsciously, it's crazy that I'm like going back through this and
Yeah.
thinking about it now, because
That's
I didn't even
Right.
consider that stuff.
So back then, did you have any inspiration to do that stuff, or you just wanted to mess and figure things out and just create
Straight up.
So to me, that shows, okay, you're just an artist. It sounds like your family is just an artist.
Yeah.
Like you're all artists, and that's
try.
where that comes, because a lot of people would just get a camera and just take the shots.
Yeah.
I've never seen you really. You do, but your focus and your passion, you can tell. Like this over this last weekend, I got a fog machine. I got
Oh
this
God, I wish I
lighting,
didn't leave it at
I
home.
got all this, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
you're thinking outside the box with everything to create art versus just capturing moments.
Yeah.
Capturing moments is sweet.
Yeah.
Of course, we need that.
Yeah.
But like the art side is what always drew me to your photos, because it's different.
I appreciate it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely like, I wouldn't say I have any influences or anything like that in particular outside of just like looking at skateboard magazines and being like, that's a cool photo.
Yeah.
But like even with my like design work, I don't know, like I look to certain things for inspiration, but I also don't really like want to be inspired by other things. Like even if I am, I would rather be like subconsciously inspired than like
organically.
actually. Yeah, like I want my stuff to look like my stuff,
Yes.
not like somebody else's stuff. And like we were talking about earlier, like taking certain influences, like if I see something I like, I don't really care. I don't want to sound like facetious. I don't care to learn too much about the person that did it. I'm more interested in figuring out how they got there.
Got you. Okay.
And like maybe I would be more interested in having a conversation with them about how they developed a certain technique or something like that than like, how did you get into photography?
Right.
You know, and that's kind of like where maybe that industrial design thing comes into effect too. It's like the curiosity of knowing like how to do things. Like when I'm 80, dude, I just want to have a workshop where I can go in the back and like literally just make whatever I want to make.
Yeah.
Like fully fleshed out. Like, oh, I'm gonna hop on the CNC machine and make a mold for my injection molder. Like, I need a new toothbrush.
No, sure.
I don't want to go to the store. I'll just like go grab some pellets of plastic and melt them down into a toothbrush over here.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
yeah.
So now, and no, I get that, and I kind of like, I like to hear it, but also it's funny because, like, you know, what you're doing, like you've said before, everything's kind of been done, like double exposures, all that stuff has been done, but it's having the right vision to get it done.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So how do you feel about recently, you know, you can see others doing the same type of artistry?
You know, I mean, I don't really care. I you know, it's funny that you're telling me that you see the influence here, because like I have seen that, and it's like the story that I talked about on the podcast with the high schoolers, right?
Yeah.
Like
which went pretty far.
Yeah,
a lot
right?
of people spread that because it was such a positive message.
And that's
Really,
kind of
really sick.
still how I feel about it. You know, I see the things popping up everywhere, and like you could ask Caitlin my girlfriend at the house, like every once in a while I'm like, see something, I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Like, where do you think they got that idea from? And she's like, yeah, whatever. But like, who knows? Like, you see things, but there's like 6 billion, 7 billion people on Earth or whatever too. So it's like, somebody else could be doing it simultaneously. Who knows?
No, sure.
And that's, again, like, I try not to look at like too much other stuff. Half because like I don't want to feel like, damn it, I wish I did that. Like that's a shot that I missed out on.
Right.
But other times, like, I'm just like doing the stuff that I like to look at, and if I like to look at it, somebody else probably likes to look at it too. And at the end of the day, like, I don't make like any money off of this. I'm just doing it to like
projects,
document this. Like, we don't, you know, who knows how long we're going to be able to like do all of this stuff for, like how we do it now.
and like we're definitely in a golden age. I mean, you've been doing it a lot longer than me, so I don't know if I can really say that, but like what do you think about that? Like,
No, I mean, now it's pretty amazing.
yeah, so
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
like to be able to document all of this stuff and like hopefully preserve it for a future generation, you know? Like I want to put, for sure for this year, I want to like put a book together of just like the whole year of stuff that I did and like my favorite stuff, and it's definitely going to be more of like a coffee table like
No, that'd be
art book,
amazing.
you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I want somebody to want to like come back to my photos later on and be
Right.
like, man, like it invokes a feeling,
Yeah.
you know? Like when I'm editing photos and stuff, like ask any photographer that like the hardest thing to do is like delete good photos. But like I'm trying like really hard when I'm sorting through photos, like if I don't feel something
Yeah.
when I'm looking at it, it's like
It's donezo.
gone,
Yeah.
and like be done with it. And like going through design school, that was like a big thing too. Like we have these like brutal critiques at the end of everything that we do, right? And like there's no holds bars. Like the professors are talking shit about your work, your other students are talking shit about your work.
Oh, geez.
And then like at the end of the day it still like doesn't matter. It's like a stupid project.
Right.
You know, and you gotta like move on. So I think like that definitely helps a lot. But like, you know, there's a lot of photographers I see out there, and I'm like, look, and this is not to discredit them at all. They could be perfectly good photographers, but like, I hate looking through like a group of photos and being like, just like when you look at it from a distance, it just like blends together. You know,
Okay,
like
sure.
I feel like maybe that's why like some of my colors and stuff are like a lot different than other people's
see that.
and stuff, because like even though they're
like you
different,
said-
I want them to be different from one another.
Right. And not to discredit, because there's definitely a need for,
Yeah.
you know, other styles.
100%.
100%.
100%.
Like, there's a need, but like I've been recently seeing a lot of, and again, I'm not talking shit, but if I pull up somebody's album,
Yeah.
it literally looks like they just stayed in one spot and shot the same angle of the same like cars over
Yeah.
and over again.
Yeah.
And it's like you need 5 of those shots versus, you know, and they're just cookie cutter. Nobody's, I don't know. They're getting comfortable with just being a media person, and they're losing the artistry, in my opinion, some people out there.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, even just like I filmed and shot video, right? I took photos and shot video during the comp at Final Bout, just because I want to have a little bit of both. And I moved like at least 10 times in that time frame.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw people that I don't know if they moved at all
Yeah.
during that time frame. And I'm like, man, doesn't it just get like boring to like edit the photos?
Yeah, it's like the same thing
Like,
over and over again.
Damn, you know, why do you want to look at all of that stuff?
Yeah.
You know, so
No, that's cool. Hey, so now where we're at currently, and we're gonna
Yes.
break from this. Now I want to get back to stuff, but I'm starting to get eaten by bugs. For some reason, do you get bit?
no.
They bite me all the time. I have a nice one that's
Jeez.
cracking here.
Oh my God.
Just got one on the elbow.
Oh my God, yeah, let's freaking
I'm
move.
sweet. I'm very sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. But anyway, you said that this is also, is this a spot that has,
It's called Asylum Point Park.
so we're gonna take a little intermission.
Yeah. It's
Can we,
spooky.
what do you got to show me? Is there cool stuff here?
Yeah, there's a place with a bunch of graves.
And we're gonna dig one up.
Dude, maybe lucky number 13, you know?
Oh.
Might be kind of crazy. If you'll see what I mean when we get over there.
Is that walking distance?
Yeah,
Let's take a walk.
definitely. Right through the woods, I believe. There should be some good like filler background, like stuff.
Is that where those kids were going to? Probably.
Probably.
Is it like a spot?
Yeah, I mean it's like a whole nice thing to walk through. Like they have a trail, and then like I said, there's like a Boy Scout camp and stuff back here.
Okay. It's getting dark. I gotta take the shades off.
Yeah. And then there used to
Watch
be
the snakes.
a insane asylum back here or something like that.
Okay.
And
Oh God, the bugs. Oh my God, the bugs.
let me know if you need to get out of here, Damien.
They just, whoa.
Wildlife galore.
Wildlife. Yeah, they'll just, I don't know why. It's just like I guess I'm just that sweet, you know?
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah. It smells good and
So much-
stuff.
I did take a shower at your house.
How was the water pressure?
It's good. I like
Nice.
your shower head. I like adjustability. in the
Yeah,
shower
it
head.
is nice.
Yep, I dug that.
Yeah.
It's very good.
And then I think that we can cut this
Crazy.
way.
We were walking in like, nice suburban
Yeah.
areas. Now we're through the woods.
We're all about the
Where else
wildlife
is
out
today
here.
gonna take us?
Look at this little tunnel we've got coming up on.
Pretty sick.
It's like we're going to Narnia or some shit.
What if we kissed?
Oh my god.
Gosh.
Make some spirits wake up from the grave. Yeah, I'm just gonna look at the satellite and make sure we're walking
Oh, I hope
in the
I hope this
correct.
turns
Yeah.
into one of those.
No, this is perfect. See this,
It's documented. They'll find the camera on our bodies.
dude?
You know what I mean?
Kuroshi Witch Project, dude.
I'm so scared. The booger comes out.
Oh my god.
All right.
But basically, we kind of got to get over to this green space
Okay.
over here.
Is it a pathway there?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see right over there. There's a little sign and stuff.
And then, so this was an insane asylum.
Yes. Yeah, insane in the membrane, you know.
So everybody was just smoking drugs.
Cypress Hill
And-
played a bunch of shows out here. It's crazy.
I wish. Fun fact, Cypress Hill, House of Pain, Funk Dubious was my biggest rap inspirations to start rapping. So a lot of people don't know that I'm actually a rap artist, which is hilarious.
Power Omen, check him out.
Yeah, which is, it started as a joke and then still is kind of a joke if you listen to this stuff. But realistically though, I loved Cypress Hill. Fun little snippet on me. You're welcome.
Now we're
Welcome,
gonna
world.
walk down this little path here.
Hell yeah.
So basically, this is the cemetery.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you can't see any of the gravestones now, but we will start seeing them once we walk in, which is kind of crazy.
An eye open for spirits.
June 16th, 1873 to October 17th, 1972. Life lends us only feet. Death gives us wings.
Look at that.
From 1873 through 1972, Northern Hospital for the Insane and Winnebago State Hospital used the cemetery to inter nearly 870 persons, including patients and infants born to hospitalized women.
Oh, man.
Some of the interred were military veterans dating back to the Civil War. To maintain confidentiality, numbers were used to mark the graves. However, the names of the deceased have been preserved. Family members seeking information are encouraged to contact, and it's
So that's cool.
pretty
So
cool.
you can still come see number 7, who is
Yeah.
so and so.
Yep,
If it's
yep.
a relation.
And the last thing that it says is, "May the souls who rest here find the peace that eluded them in life," which is,
That's pretty.
for a lot of these people,
Yep.
very
Yeah.
true. So
Wow.
we'll get in here and start checking this out a little bit. We'll have to get up to the front corner. That's where the really old ones are. So you can kind of see here. Yeah, you can. So it's like basically these, maybe that's a footprint. Some of these, there's like some spots under here, but I think that we'll see them a little bit further back. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I guess we can go under the fence. But it's weird because there's graves on either side of the fence, so it's like, kind of like, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I see one.
Yeah, they're all over the place. So let's see, does it have a number on it? Yeah, number
Number 12.
12. So 13's probably right. Yeah. The respect, the disrespect.
Yeah, you'd think they'd clean it out. I guess they do every now and then.
Oh, that's actually 123.
120.
Yeah, I think the old ones are back here, but they're everywhere. Here's number 150. They're all over. It's pretty
I see
crazy.
it now. I didn't see it at first. Now I see it.
It's pretty crazy, isn't
What's
it?
crazy is the amount of bugs.
Yeah.
I'm getting bit up.
So you want to get out of here, get to the next location?
Yes. Yes. But this is awesome. This is super cool.
It's really, there's nothing quite like this that I've seen before. Like the closest thing, which is completely different, Arlington National Cemetery, but
Okay,
like, you know, it's
sure.
one of those places it's a common thing, but the way that it exists is not so common.
Yeah.
So there's even, I think maybe some potential stones out here, but yeah, grass gets long. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think that the 13 and stuff, the spooky numbers, I think might be up in this corner. There's, you know, probably hidden in plain sight somewhere here, you know.
Number 3.
It's right here. 2, number 1, dude. I think that that's number 1 and it doesn't even have a number on it. That, I mean, that has to be number 1, right? And there's not even a number on it.
Yep, probably.
It's pretty crazy. And then 13. 303.
Oh, wow.
So it's like puts a lot of things into perspective.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people with a lot of problems that ended up here. You know, mental health is important.
Yes, it is.
You know, if you think that you need to talk to somebody, shit, can we get out this way? Hopefully I didn't take you on all right. Well, we got to see the spooky numbers. That's what's important here.
We saw the spooky number.
Anyways, not to get sidetracked on that serious topic. If you feel like you need help, you know.
That's a serious topic.
Yeah.
Because in, you know, everything that's in life,
Yeah.
mental health is super important.
Super important. So take that shit seriously. Talk to your friends if you need to.
Or you'll end up in a numbered grave.
Yeah.
No,
Hey, it's possible.
actually, that is true. You never know. Right.
Looks like there's somebody that's got a tree stand up here so they can hunt ghosts.
Hunting ghosts.
Hunting ghosts.
Hunting ghosts from the post.
Very common thing. There's a rope hanging from up there too.
Okay, that's creepy.
You know?
If you want to join the numbers.
Yeah. All
right, where are we going next?
I think you know, we can like go maybe check out the wood shop
Okay. Hell yeah.
and
I like
then
that.
go get some dinner. We're out here in the woodshop studio, aka Black Wolf Design, my place of employment, where I make this crap into
Other crap.
other crap. So this is kind of where everything starts. You know, we get trucks of lumber showing up with different kinds of plywood, different kinds of solid lumber, and like my job is essentially to convert this raw material over here into finished product and make a set of instructions for people to build stuff without hopefully me having to be involved. But we have all sorts of different kinds of wood. We've got ash, mahogany, maple, we've got sapele, we've got cherry, alder, oaks, walnut, chestnut, whatever anybody wants, really. We do custom full everything, right? So we get this stuff in and you look at it, and this is what's called rough sawn lumber. We get this stuff, it comes in S2S, which means two sides of the board are planed, hit or miss, but the edges are always rough. So we have to take these boards and put a straight edge on them. Like, to make anything out of wood, it all starts with squaring up your material and starting from a good spot. So we'll take our wood off of here and bring it over to this unit. This baby is from the 50s. Oldest machine at the shop, easily the best working thing. This thing has like a 24-inch saw blade in it, and it's got a power feed. So this thing, if you were to get caught in here, it's like game over. Yeah, you were missing whatever, because it can power through a 2-inch thick piece of wood, and it cuts fast. Like, it is a power walking pace through this thing.
Yeah.
And we put a straight edge on there, flip it over, put a straight edge on the other side, and kind of goes to potentially a couple of different areas depending on what's happening to it from there. If it's getting glued up to something else, we'll bring it over here to this machine. This thing's pretty sweet. You can just like type in a very exact dimension and it'll move this fence over. You slide a piece of wood over to it. This has a saw that comes upwards and it'll clamp down, chop it to size. Otherwise, it might come through this machine right here, which I wish I could open up, but you know, safety, whatever. So this thing can take a rough board and clean up all four sides at the same time. Take a rough piece of material at one end, totally smooth piece of material out of the other end, and it can take like almost a 1/4 inch off of each side at a time. It's like a very aggressive machine. Or we bring the material over to this side, which you know what a bandsaw is, right?
Yep.
This is what's called a horizontal bandsaw. Oh. So you can see the blade on this thing is like 72 inches long.
Right.
And it's designed to split the thickness of a material in half. So like, have you ever heard of the term book matching before? So book matching would be like, if you were to, like this piece of material has been split in half, but if you were to split in half again and flip it, it would be a mirror image of one another on there. So like if you've ever seen a really nice looking tabletop or something, you can, where it's like sequential, like repeating patterns, get split on something like this, and we glue it back together in something like this. Like there might even be some book matched boards in here. Like I can tell looking at this, these two came out of the same piece of wood. See how this knot and this knot,
Gotcha.
It's flipped and inverted. So we try to make our stuff not look so book matched, just so it looks a little bit more natural. So we're moving things around, and like it matters the grain that you see on the end of the wood, because if you glue things up wrong, wood is extremely temperamental. It does whatever the fuck it wants to do. It will break itself apart. You know, if you glue it up wrong, it'll cup.
Right.
You cut it wrong, it'll release some tension, and it'll go from straight to crooked boner, you know?
Crooked? We don't want those.
No, but this thing's pretty crazy. So it's a rotating clamp rack where you can have a station, glue your stuff up. Keep your fingers out of the way.
Yep.
Glue up another panel.
No shit.
Yeah, nice and safe. And then this is like another clamp rack station. Like if we have something complicated to glue up, we can put a whole myriad of different clamps together and like do a complicated clamping setup with all of these pneumatic driven clamps that are like all magnetic and stuff. And we have like, say you're getting a round table, right? They have these curved aprons that hide all the stuff underneath. So we have these forms over here, and we can hang these things up on the wall, wrap material around them, and like form different shapes by gluing thin strips of wood together to create different shapes.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So this is a kind of the next big step in the process. This is our planer sander. So that's what we use to flatten things out, make them true, give a good glue surface, make it totally smooth, etc., etc. So this thing's like 54 inches wide, which is huge, and it's planes the material, sands to 120, and then sands to 180. So it comes out like totally dead smooth on the backside.
And also, I see a face.
Oh hell yeah! You know those Germans. Love the faces. We got our classic table saw. Every shop's got one. If you don't know how to use this, you don't belong in a wood shop. And if you don't got all these, you don't belong in a wood shop either.
Tucker Barton, hear that?
So this thing's pretty sweet too. This is the table saw for sissies. But I love it. It's called a sliding table saw. So this whole gantry moves, and you can set something up. We use this for like cutting plywood and stuff, or cutting crosscuts, things that are long, that are dangerous, because like you don't want to ever cut something wider than it is long on a table saw. So you can have something on here, clamp it, push it through. It's just like a much safer way to operate.
I like that.
And then here, this is another really important tool that we use. This thing is a vacuum press. So this has a flexible membrane on top, and we can take different pieces of wood, veneer, etc., things that we just want to glue together, whether it's a complex shape or, you know, we do a lot of laminated panels where we'll have like plywood in the middle sandwiched between two solid layers of wood. So that will essentially stabilize the wood, prevent it from being able to move anymore.
Right.
But you still have a beautiful actual solid wood surface that's got the real character of the wood. It's not a veneer. It's not like a contrived pattern or anything, and it has all of the real characteristics of wood. However, you can use it like other materials because it no longer is really able to grow and contract.
Sure.
You don't have to be as concerned about the grain directions of things, which helps out a lot for a lot of different shapes that you want to build. Classic woodworking tool again, jointer. This shit will take your fingers right off. This blade spins at like 8,000 RPM and it's just a single blade. Gone. Belt sander, you know what it is? And this is my baby. MTC line, 3-axis CNC machine. Pretty basic machine as far as what it's got, but it is a sports car. You know, we all know the fastest cars don't have a lot of shit going on with them.
Oh.
This thing can move one corner of the table to the other corner of the table in literally a second. It is extremely fast, can stop really fast,
Yeah.
super good spindle speeds. Like, for you CNC nerds out there, this thing has rapid travels of like 4,000 inches a minute, and I can cut at like 1,200 inches a minute. It's like crazy, 24,000 RPM spindle, totally sealed. It's got a, you know, it has a drill bank on there where I can drill like 10 holes at a time in different patterns and stuff. And then it's got automatic tool changer, tool offset, you know, it's got a 11-inch Z clearance and a 60 by 120 inch footprint, so I can cut like anything ever. Kind of want to make some plugs for some body kits, you know what I'm saying? Get some fiberglass kits going on here, you know, maybe. So I spend a lot of time on this machine. I program this machine, run this machine, do the CAD design before the programming. So this is, I love this machine.
Yeah.
If you guys got a keychain from me or you want a keychain, hit me up. I made the final bout trophy on this thing, you know. It's like, I love this machine. So something I was going to show you, because we've got some stuff going on, you can see a little bit of the process. Like this is upside down right now, but you can see this pedestal right here. It's got some complex stuff going on, right? Multiple angles, but they fade out to nothing. So to create this, I cut it in 2 halves. But to be able to do that successfully, because of the depth of this, like I can't fit a 4-inch tool down that far. Like, it's a huge tool. So what I do, we cut that in half. We cut one side and we make a jig like this. So we can cut it from one half, put some holes on the other side, and you can see this thing right here gets flipped onto this jig, held in place with some pins and stuff, and allows me to cut the other side.
That's cool.
But I will never make this again. So I go through the process of making these jigs and things to be able to make this thing once, but do it in a way where it's cheap to make the jigs and it's cheap to make it, and it's not a whole thing. But if we wanted to do it again, we totally could.
Right.
So then once everything is all said and done, it kind of comes to these 2 benches right here, our main assembly benches, and these 2 guys really bring the furniture together into what it becomes before it leaves the door. You know, we've got piece over here that we just got finished. This is another little original. You know, we're working on some ideas that we can do for, you know, just miscellaneous projects when stuff's slow around the shop, or, you know, just new ideas. So something that I had in mind is like, we've got friends that live in urban environments and stuff, apartment, downtown somewhere, you don't have a lot of room, shit's expensive.
Yep.
But everybody needs a place to put their shoes on, take their shoes off, set their shit when they get home. So something like this where you've got some storage built in, you've got a spot for your phone charger comes through. It's little tiny details like this. Like, this is a good example of industrial design. This will make it work better. Why? Just because of this. But it's one of those things that you have to actually think about a little bit. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. Then you can put your wallet here, and again, you've got the corner splines in there for some added strength, but it also looks good.
Right.
Then we do stuff like this. Like, I wish this was still together so you guys kind of see, but this is the upper half of a TV cabinet.
Oh, gotcha.
And all of these drawers are custom made, and while they look square, if you get down at eye level, all of these drawers are trapezoid shaped. Like you can kind of see how it slants a little bit.
Let me see here. Yeah, you can see it.
And they match, like you can kind of see on the front of this, the whole front of this cabinet is not straight. It's two angles that come together, and even the profile on the drawer front, the pull right there, the finger pull, sort of plays on the same angles. So it's all well thought out. And this is like a wood on wood drawer slide, but we do a lot of like soft closed drawer slides and the like. And the door there kind of plays off of it, but it's kind of all over the place. We'll check out the finishing room really quick because that's kind of the last big part of the process here. And I think I could paint a car in here. Miata, to be specific. You know, I should have brought it in. So this is our pretty nice fully enclosed paint booth here.
Oh, I like that.
Get a lot of stuff done. I think I could fit a Miata in here.
Yeah, you could. You could have
So, you know.
Corolla in there too.
Hey, maybe. I know you got a street car you're working on, you know. But we just got this like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. We got this thing put in. It's been definitely a big help. So we do all custom finishes too. All of these things are getting developed for customers. Sometimes we're developing some of our own finishes in-house. But like this piece over here, for example, custom paint colors getting put on. It's a two-toned piece. It's black underneath of the paper, so it's going to be a really cool contrast of colors underneath of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Art. You live and breathe it.
I try. I gotta keep my, I'm like ADD, you know, I gotta keep myself interested a little bit. I'll show you guys this crazy thing we've been working on that's been consuming a lot of my life recently. This is somebody's kitchen island. Yeah, does not have a top on it right now, but it's got a spot for a pull-out trash. We've got a massive sink in the middle, dishwasher over there. This side is a big overhang where you can come with your stools, but like the way that these doors are built is like insane. It's so over the top. Like each one of these doors is 8 pieces on the inside, 8 pieces on the outside. There's a back panel that has a fabric covering in there, and it all has to be able to go together after it leaves here because somebody else is doing more work on it, and it's like that with everything that we do. So we've got a couple of other things to see in here, but then that's pretty much it, you know? Keep it short and sweet. And, you know, like I said, we do full custom stuff. So it's really all over the place. Some people come to us with some, frankly, weird requests like this thing. I think it's kind of ugly, but somebody wants it. So we do it for them. This was a beautiful piece of cherry furniture beforehand. And it's got this kind of painted sort of finish on it. But,
yeah, it's wild.
You know, part of the texture, you can see, like, they finish it once, and then they cover it all up, and what they do to make this come through, they put Vaseline on the layer of the first one, and it lets them like flake the second layer off super easy. So there's all these like really weird, woodworking's kind of like hot rodding, right? Like there's all of these legacy bits of knowledge that you'll only learn if you're in the shop, and like that's kind of cool too. And this is this is pretty cool because you don't see this a lot. This is made out of chestnut.
Okay.
Super expensive wood. Doesn't really grow naturally anymore, and really hard to come by. And this is like maybe the 3rd or 4th piece of furniture we've made for this family out of this material.
Wow.
So we do have a lot of repeat customers where our stuff fills up their home, and like I have to remind myself every now and then there's people who like the furniture that we make is like a core piece of their family history. It becomes an heirloom. Like
from generation.
They've spent how many hundreds of hours watching TV and laughing or eating at the dining table, breaking bread, like getting to know one another, and like it becomes a part of them, you know. So
yeah, that's beautiful.
It's good to remind ourselves that we do that. And then the last part of the tour is pretty much the dojo.
Right, we got your fights.
Where we get down to business. Business. This is my dirty ass desk. The brain center of the operation, if you will. Got my dual monitors going.
I can tell this is your spot.
Oh yeah, my discs, dude. I got a yo-yo right here. I got it all, dude. I think I even got like a wood yo-yo over here somewhere. I got my little Japanese police car eraser. A little dusty, you know.
Oh, where's Scott?
Wood dust everywhere over here. But like,
That's amazing.
that's pretty much it. There's one piece of furniture that I know is done right now because I saw it this morning, but I don't see it anywhere. And we need to go find this piece of furniture. So walk with me again because it's one of the coolest things I've done recently, and it looks insane. And I know it's out here. And I see it. I see it. All right, y'all. This is this kind of like crazy idea that I had that I just like made happen because I want to say I was bored, but I just like sometimes you have an idea and you need to like see it come to reality. And this thing came out fucking sick. It's literally a section of Mount Everest topographically.
That's cool.
And then we've got a piece of glass on top.
There we go. The lighting's better. That's epic. Now, was this through the CNC?
Yeah, so I found a good topological graph of Mount Everest, and then I did the CNC programming to cut it all out. And like, you can even get like eye level with this, and really like, it's probably trippy with the Osmo because of the wide angle and stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
It looks awesome.
I just love like little things like this coming together and creating textures and maybe making like a conversation piece of like,
Yeah.
it's a functional side table, but somebody is going to be like, what the heck is going on here? Kind of like my photos and stuff. And like along with that, these things are pretty cool too. I like textures with furniture. So like, I've worked on some stuff like this. Like really like
It's trippy.
super trippy textures, or like these are some cool ones. For some clocks that I've been working on.
Yeah, that's neat.
Got this like really crazy like chip carved, or even something simple like just a bunch. Like this is such a simple pattern to do, but it looks crazy.
Very, very Darren.
Yeah, hexagons, baby.
Darren, is this your livery?
Livery, new livery.
Darren, you won't do wood door panels and then
Dude.
hexagons.
I'm in. I am in. So yeah, that's pretty much the kit and caboodle.
I appreciate this tour.
Photography is my escape from this place. But I can't complain. This place is pretty awesome. I get to just hang out with my friends, learn stuff, make stuff that's never existed before. Sometimes we struggle, sometimes we strive, but
Super cool.
we be making stuff.
Yeah, this is really neat. This is something I can't wait to show the rest of the people.
Not a lot of people get to see places like this or know that they even exist, you know?
That you do this. That's the thing, you know? It's super cool.
Yeah.
So I guess find a place to sit down?
Yeah, I mean, we can, let's sit on some furniture in the front.
Yeah. Well, now we're sitting in Mack's office, and we're going to go and continue. Basically, we're just going to continue where we left off at the romantic park, where we held hands, skipped through enchanted forests. What else did we do? Desecrated some graves.
Yeah, it was really jovial.
All of the things that you would do with a good friend. Mm-hmm. So where did I leave off? I think I was talking to you about your artistry and your inspiration, but we went through all of that, and I think, and now that you gave us an amazing look at another art that you do, which is pretty ridiculous.
Something like art, yeah.
No, it's art. It's definitely art. There's no way that it's not art. Literally, I think everything you do in life is going to be some form of art. Look at you. You are art. You're a gorgeous man. Yeah, let's dive into other hobbies and you in motorsports, because you know you're doing the photography. We all know you've been on the podcast a bajillion times. If you have not seen those episodes, make sure you go check. We have done almost all of the final bouts up until Maine now, which we just completed together.
Yes.
Which we're going to have a lot to talk about.
We got the kids.
We got to do that, and then we can continue on. And then we're going to have a finished one for the year. We're going to finish out the year with another over. Yes, correct. We'll encompass every single one of the special stages and Maine, and we'll talk about that. So we're not going to get deep into anything final bout right now because we've already been through that. We've seen your photography through and your videography because you've done pit walks for us and everything through every single one of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to dive into you and motorsports because we went from skateboarding. We saw that you took the style from skateboarding. You started adapting that. And now, when did any automotive stuff start to hit the good old cranium?
Well, I mean, I've liked cars forever, but unfortunately, growing up, Dad's not into cars. None of my friends were into cars. I took auto shop in high school for a couple of years and did, learned to do an oil change, brake job, like pretty basic stuff. But even, after high school, I didn't really do anything for a while. I had an Audi A4 in high school. I
Sick.
blew that shit up like real quick. I think I had it for less than a year before thermostat froze open and cracked the block and like whole nightmare. So then I didn't have a car until I graduated college.
Okay.
Actually, so I was like carless from 16 to 22.
Oh, wow.
Basically, yeah, I didn't have a car because I graduated in high school. I moved to college in Iowa, and like where I went, everything was in walking distance. And if not, they had a great like city bus system, so I didn't need cars. Again, still into it the whole time. I'm like drawing cars in industrial design class and stuff, and but personally, the car stuff, I just couldn't really do anything with them. Broke college student, and then I moved back home after college before I moved to California. I mean, I didn't even really move back home. I stopped back at home. And at that point, when I graduated college, sort of as a gift, I bought a car from my dad for $1,
Sick.
Which was actually before he had it. It was my grandma's car, brand new.
Right.
So my Miata, if you guys have seen it, maybe you have or haven't, but yeah, that was my grandma's car, brand new in 1990. I think it's a 91 model year, but she got it in 90. So it's like one of the OGs. It's like the first long nose crank 1.6 Miata. So it's relatively, knock on free, knock on wood, issue free,
Also wild, not many can say that their first, like, you're drifting this now, but their first drift car was their grandmother's? Like, that's pretty sick. Except, I just thought of this, Chelsea DeNova, his Miata was also his grandmother's.
True. I should, see if I could talk to him about that at some point.
Yeah, that's very ironic, very rare. That's cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So it also means something.
Totally.
Like, that's really cool.
One of my first memory, this car very well could be the car that got me into cars. The car's a year older than me. It has been a part of my life as long as I've been alive in some way, shape, or form.
That's pretty wild.
I remember going for rides in it as a little kid. When I was 12, we were visiting my grandparents in New Mexico. My mom took me to the local park and tried to teach me to drive stick when I was 12. And I remember we were in the parking lot and I had gotten it going and there was a cop in the parking lot. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, I'm going to get arrested.
Yeah.
Freaked out. And,
That's adorable.
But yeah, my grandparents took it on road rallies all over the Southwest with Miata clubs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely got a lot of ties. And my dad drove it for probably 5 years. And now I've desecrated it. No, it's cool now. It's oh shit!
It still stayed looking at you. That's insane.
Bam.
That's insane.
Whoa.
Maybe we'll take a quick break. And we're back. We had a technical difficulty. The camera fell. So, in like any pile-up podcast, something has to get super fucked up, and we just keep rolling. So, let's see. We just propped it back up, made sure the camera was all right, and we're ready to go. So, let's flip it around. Back to you, buddy.
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
So, you got the Miata. You remember,
Yep,
and you thinking that might have been the thing that maybe got you into it.
Definitely.
Like,
so,
I mean, probably.
Probably. And then I got the car when I graduated college, bought it from my dad, and then me and my roommate who I lived with for a number of years, shout out Max. Fun story. This guy I lived with, his name is Max Smith. My middle name is Smith.
No way.
So we moved to California. We've got Max Smith and Mac Smith.
That's crazy.
And it would just trip people out. We got confused between each other like all the time. But he's like bleach blonde hair. Like we're
completely different.
Totally.
Yeah.
But me and him drove my car. I picked him up in Iowa. We drove out to California. Two of us, all of our shit in the Miata. Moved out there. Yep. Lived in Santa Barbara. And I mean, it's kind of kismet. Like, you know, I didn't find this out till later, but from what I understand, Santa Barbara was one of the first areas they started development testing of the Miata.
No way.
Because the car was developed with somewhat of an American market in mind, and when they think of a small sports car convertible, Southern California kind of screams to mind.
Oh, 100%.
And Santa Barbara is sort of one of these areas where it's close to LA, but it's far enough that people aren't going to see what you're working on up there if you're working on. It's kind of where all of the rich people go to get out of the way. There's all these beautiful mountain roads and stuff. And like, I moved there. I lived up in the mountains. I had a 1.2 mile toge run that I could run both directions, like leading up to my house, and I just like memorized this. And like that's probably when I really started getting really into driving. Like I put sway bars on the car, you know, did like little performance mods, like intake and exhaust and like you know, just little stuff. But I'd try to drive faster and faster on this little toge every day on my way to and from work, and it was awesome. And I started learning how to get comfortable power sliding and stuff, like, you know. And then I figured out there's this other crazy, if I go the other direction, I could go on a 13-mile round trip that has a 1,500-foot elevation change each way with 150 hairpin turns.
Jeez.
And I would do that on Sundays.
That's so
just
cool.
by myself. And that taught me a lot about driving. And this is like lane and a half wide roads with no guardrails and 500-foot drops off of both sides. But this mountain range, you can weave across the peak of a mountain, and on one side you're seeing the ocean, and then you go to the backside and you're seeing snowy mountains, and you're just weaving back and forth, and it's just like unlike anywhere I've ever been. And then, you know, I moved down to LA and was still driving more, and that's kind of when I started getting more into like drifting per se. This was like right around the big Gymkhana videos that Ken Block was putting around.
Okay,
you know,
I was
like
gonna,
the one that he did
ask,
in LA.
I was going to ask, what was your first, like, what did you see first? Because there's always that first introduction. I know my exact first introduction. I can see it in my head, the video that I was shown, and that's what just tipped the scale. You know, it went from show cars to I need to do that eventually.
Man. You know, I'm not sure what the first moment is. You know, I played racing video games forever. I mean, it probably honestly started with like Project Gotham Racing. Xbox. way back. And just like ripping the handbrake on the controller and drifting around. Like, I've just always been into that stuff. Like, you know, Gran Turismo, Forza, whatever it is. But I think that like one of the things, like for sure, that was like a moment that was like, this is crazy. It's like the Gymkhana video with the Mustang. Right? Like, I'd seen the earlier ones, but to me, that like that first scene when they're in the warehouse and the Mustang's chained up and it's doing the 4-wheel burnout hooked up to the chain, and it just like lets loose, and it's just this like animal 4-wheel drifting everywhere. I'm like, this is crazy. And the cinematic approach that they take to all of those videos and stuff, like, was just that extra layer on top of it. I'm like, I live just outside of LA. How did they shut all of this shit down to do this?
Yeah.
On top of the crazy driving.
God, yeah.
You know, so I
Lots of
moved down to
production.
LA, and like, if you've ever been to LA, you know there's boulevards everywhere. 3 lanes on either side of a solid center median. So I started figuring out, well, hey, if I'm the first person at an intersection and it turns green and there's no cars the other way, generally, like, it's pretty safe, allegedly, to slide across a few lanes of traffic. And I wasn't doing clutch kicks or anything like that, but I'm just like momentum, like power sliding and like just shaking my way. And that's like probably still why I try to like not use e-brake as much as possible in that car. But I did that for way too much and somehow got in no trouble for doing it, even though I did it in front of a couple of cops on one occasion. And they just
That's wild.
watched as I drove by, and I was like, hey. But then, yeah, like after I moved out of LA and kind of came to Wisconsin, wasn't really doing anything too much. Like, I had the Miata out here, but when I lived in LA before I moved out here, I bought a 4Runner just so I could like move all of my shit back here, and I had that for a while. And then I had a Focus ST for a while, and I really like that. I mean, if you haven't driven one, people talk a lot of shit about them. One of the best handling cars I've like ever driven.
I've heard nothing but good things, to be honest.
They're great, like drivers grip cars. They're not crazy fast, but like for a front wheel drive car, you can like haul ass stock. So I had a lot of fun in that, and I've always definitely been like more towards the grip driving side of things, and just like going fast and pushing the car as much as I can. And then I somehow heard about Gallery and saw this team, Sexy Nights, is coming. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like the coolest thing I've never heard of. Where is this? So.
And this would never, no drift events.
Never been to a drift event. Ever before it.
Oh.
And
so I was at your first drift event.
Yeah.
I'm honored.
Yeah. So it was. I you know, and I hadn't even picked up the camera in a while. I shoot photos here at work. I do all of our product photography and stuff like that
Makes
too.
sense. This is adding up.
So I hadn't really done much photo stuff for fun outside of that. And, you know, me and my girlfriend, you know, she's got a degree in body collision tech repair and stuff. So we would go to local car shows and stuff, and we found out about this, and I was starting to take my camera out a little bit more. And I was like, yeah, why not? I'll take my camera out. I'll take some pictures. Maybe I'll shoot some video. Like, I don't really have that many friends that skate in the area. I was making little skate edits with some of my friends at the local park, but, you know, just like wanted a little bit more. So took it out there, made a video, you know, shot all the photos outside of the fence and stuff, and like got to see so many cars. Rich was there. Like, I think that really like what got me hooked is I filmed that clip of Rich's hood popping open, coming down the carousel.
Wait. Is that yours?
That's my clip.
Your clip, the one to Russia and then blew up?
I don't know. The one I had, the one on his thing that has like over 1 million views.
Okay, then that's
my clip.
No, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know, because we didn't know each other back then. But that was like an instant.
That's like by far my most viral clip.
Yeah.
But on my Instagram, it has like 1,500 views, and on Rich's Instagram, it has like 1.5 million views. So shout out, Rich. I'll take some royalties from you whenever, you know.
Of course. And then there's Russia reposts and Russians.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, Rich was telling me, and it makes sense because I've seen them before. It's all subtitled in Russian. I have no clue what they're saying. But they love JZXs over there so much. And there's one that's floating around that's like 70 million. Like, it's just non-stop. Like, they just keep resharing it. And
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, pretty wild. I bet you we could ask him.
So
you know,
that's,
I think
that's my clip. When you hear that screaming in the background, that's me going like, what the fuck?
That's so cool. Yeah,
so that like,
wow,
that one moment in particular, and then like seeing Brian Peter out there in his yellow Miata ripping.
He was a ripper.
I was like, no fucking way you can do this in a Miata.
He's selling that.
Hopefully he's not anymore. Hopefully that was just like a drunk decision or something. But yeah, like seeing him rip that around was like, this is crazy. This dude in this little Miata is like beating up on these like big boy cars.
Yeah.
That's like crazy. And then Dynasty, like seeing Matt panic out there, but not even knowing who he was, and now like it's crazy that I like consider him to be a friend now.
Right.
And like
Yeah.
just seeing these little cars like doing stuff that are,
Not supposed to be doing
exactly.
stuff.
It was just like mind blowing. And I shot the photos and some of the stuff I came out with, I really liked. And like, I mean, the rest is like really
That's
history,
cool. So that's really cool. I've actually made a lot of friends through being at the same events, and even so. And now we didn't talk at all, but I've made a lot of like really cool friends in media by being at the same events and then just bumping into them and just like talking just a little bit. And it's just wild that you were there.
Totally.
I bet you if we would have like kind of like bumped into each other and had a little bit of a chance to talk,
probably
it would have started even earlier, which is wild.
crazy. And I talked to a lot of people about that over the weekend. To me, this was like, even though it's final about 10th year or whatever,
Right.
to me is a big gallery reunion, because that's my perspective, right? For a lot of people, it's a Final About 1 reunion, because I know there's a lot of people that hadn't been there since Final About 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, there was so many people there whose first event was also gallery that were also there. And just like seeing all of these familiar faces all over again, like, Sebastian from Garage Moon Power, and like seeing him there in his Skyline back then, and seeing Garage Moon Power like ripping, like so cool. And yeah, like that event just like solidified it. And then I applied for Final Bout the next year. I don't know if I shot any other Club FR events the following year.
So did you start going then to some of the other stuff that they had there?
I don't even think I had realized that like Club FR was even really a thing.
Right.
And then I found out, they have like D-Days
Yeah.
and stuff. And then like there was a while at the track too where I just like didn't really talk to anybody there. And like even still, I'm still kind of like, I don't know if I'm like antisocial or my like anxiety of like going to talk to somebody and then turning the other direction, like right when I'm about to, whatever.
You don't seem, but I guess I know you, so
Yeah, like I once I open up, I can chat.
Gotcha.
But like there's certain times when I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm just like, I'm just gonna go over here and take some pictures instead. It's like I don't have to like deal with that or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that there was like even a solid like year and a half maybe that I was shooting at the track, and like people didn't know who I was like posting as and stuff. And I'm still like hesitant to be like, say what my Instagram handle is, because I still think, I mean, it's funny, but it's like still kind of like dumb and stuff. Like,
it's
yeah,
awesome.
this is what it is. And then like meeting people, and they're like pretty much anytime I tell somebody who it is, they're like, oh my God, that's you. That's so fucking crazy. Your stuff is awesome. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like,
No, you
sick.
do. That's fine.
And then, I don't know, I've just like slowly like started working my way in there. And now I've been doing like Club FR. I've had a season pass for Club FR events for like 2 years now.
Nice.
And I've done every Final Bout and Special Stage Central since then. And then obviously this year I did
Everything.
6 events in 1 year,
Yep.
which is crazy.
Yeah, I can't wait to get into that.
6 events just for Final Bout.
Yeah. Which is absolutely insane.
Other shit too.
No shit. So I definitely didn't know that. I didn't know about the Miata and traveling with it and being your grandmother's. And
Been all over the place. Yeah. I've probably put 20,000 miles on that car almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now last year was the first time that you went to an event with your car
Correct.
and drifted. And
I've literally not even done a donut in that car.
Right.
Before that drift event.
Yeah.
So I signed up for the 101 day, which is like a learner day at US Air, if you're not aware. And that day changed my life for sure. You know, like I took Lee's class that he does beforehand, which is really helpful because Lee is like easily one of the best drivers in the entire Midwest. Like, if you ever seen him drive, he can put his car anywhere. So like he's very technical about things, but you know, I've come to become friends with Mike, Burst Speed Mike. You know, he drives a Miata. He knows how to work that thing. So he's been like a huge help to me and stuff. And just talking with those guys, and they all helped me to have great success. And, you know, it took me a bit of warming up, but I kind of, you know, did my Assetto stuff beforehand and tried to go into the day as much of like, okay, I only live an hour away from here. I street drove my car to the track.
Nice.
And I was still on a VLSD, like borderline open, minimal mods to the car. I mean, coilovers and some like other stuff. Took the car to the track and was getting comfortable on, I did a couple of little donuts, and then the guys on the skid pad were like, yeah, you don't need to be over here anymore. And I was using in Assetto, I was using an NA Miata and just like making myself drive as hard as possible. No mechanical sympathy, just like send it and it'll work better. Work my way up to it, and the D-Day 101s, you can't do the first corner on advanced because they don't want you to send it through the fence.
Makes sense.
Right. So you have to kind of chicane through it. But by the end of the day, I'm like blazing through the first turn, like trying to send it into the second. And then, towards the end of the day, I was talking with Mike and I was like, hey, do you want to drive my car around? Like, I don't know what I need to do next. You do. Take it for a spin. Let me know. Yeah. And his car was a red 1.6 car. Also, before it became what it is now, a 1.3 liter car. Yeah. So I think it was cool for both of us, for me to have somebody help understand what my car needs next, but for him is like a total throwback to like his very early days, because the Miata was a drift car before the Skyline.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that either.
I'm pretty sure. So he drove it and he was like, dude, this thing is like awesome. It's got great turn in, like the handbrake works good. I think you just need a diff. And he's like, do you want to hop in and like see how I drive? Right. And I was like, well, I'm adding 200 pounds to the car, so like I don't know how well it's going to work. And he's like, hop in. And then he sent it on intermediate and was killing it. Did a couple of laps. And I'm just like, whoa. Like, I didn't know my car could do that. And he's like, you want to go check out advanced? I was like, you think my car can like hit advanced? And he's like, yeah, bro, it's easier. And we did 2 laps on advanced, and I was like, my car can do that? Mind blown. So we pull over, get off of the track, and we're like chatting with the friends, and I'm like, man, that was crazy. All right, I'm gonna go pack up. And he is like, he's like, hop in there. So 4 of my Club FR friends were bad influences on me and made me go out on advanced. And like, I was telling myself, don't do the first entry, because that's pretty crazy. And like, maybe don't do the wall. But my first time coming up by the wall, someone came over me, and I just like grabbed the handbrake and sent it, and like, I don't know, the rest is history. So like, linking advanced and intermediate on my first day, actually drifting ever, was like, holy shit, I didn't know I could do this. And just like watching Mike and like how he's like fucking clutch kicking the shit out of the car, I'm like, okay, I guess I need to do that now. And like, gave me the confidence to do it. And like, this guy's never driven my car before. He's treating like shit. Okay, I guess I need to treat my car more like shit. So, and it worked out. And like, it responded pretty well. And then I was hooked. And then I bought a welded diff for my car and like did some other shit. And now it's a lot easier to drift. And and I just can't wait to do it again. I got one event in this year, and I'm planning on doing one more in September. And
I'm surprised with your schedule doing the stuff that you were doing, that you've got one in. So that's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm planning on doing another one at the end of the month. And then Mike's basically told me that I just need to bring the Miata to every event that I shoot photos at US Air and get some staff laps in. So
at the end or like whenever, just
me,
get
that's
a couple.
All I need, dude. If I could get like 5 laps on each track or something, or 3 even.
Oh, hell yeah.
I would be stoked, dude. If I could shoot photos, drive my car to the track, shoot photos, drive a handful of laps.
Oh, yeah.
Drive my car home.
That's epic.
Like,
I
don't know what more I could possibly dream of.
No.
Like, not to get into final bout, but like something that was like so inspirational and cool to me. Like, I've gotten to know AJ from Risky Devil a lot over this year. We've been traveling around a lot. And, like, watching him, I don't know if you saw it at all, but like him in Risky Devil, he's just driving around the track. He parked his car in like 6 different spots on the track with his dudes. And he was shooting photos of his car at every spot on the track. Cool. And then he's just out there ripping some of the hardest laps, 7 car trains with his boys. And like, he's doing it, you know? And AJ's a super sick photographer. Like, definitely get a lot of inspiration from him as well. So yeah, like seeing that was like, damn, like he's doing it. Maybe one day, like, I'll be doing it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Hell yeah. All it to take, I mean, it's just determination.
Pretty much.
You seem like you have a good drive, so.
I want to drive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So.
And you did really good. I remember seeing the videos and being like, go Mack. I was like so stoked.
Yeah.
When you were like, I linked it. And I was like, yeah, another chip for Assetto, but also knowing the car. Grip driving it, like if you're going like the mountain passes and all that kind of stuff.
I was like so comfortable in my car and knowing what the grip levels were and stuff, and like definitely helps being comfortable in your car, and you can drive around a lot of stuff if you know what you're doing. So not that I do, but you know, I'm having fun, and I don't know. I talk to a lot of drivers that have never driven US Air at all these special stages that are nervous about it and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I drifted both tracks on my first day ever drifting there. You got in a stock Miata.
Right. You're okay.
You guys are gonna be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine.
So usually that helps pep them up a little bit. Yeah. And like I talked to all those people there, like Roman in the pink car.
Okay, sure.
That was super slammed. Right? Coming down, I was talking to him at Panic GP. And he's like, dude, I'm nervous, man. There's some elevation there. It was like scary and stuff. And I talked to him on Saturday night. He was like, bro, this is the best track I've ever driven. It's so much fun, dude. Yeah. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So
addicted. As soon as you get like one lap, you're like, fuck, I'm done.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is so fun.
Seriously.
What's the next, what do you see, what are you going to do to the Miata next? Like, do you have plans for it, or you just want to stay, like, you got the welded diff now, so you're just going to stay where it's at and progress until you're like, okay, I'm ready to move on?
I think so. I think, like, there's definitely a lot more progression I can make with the car as it sits, and I want to kind of, like, max out where it is before I, like, get into more stuff, because everybody that I've talked to says if you can drive a low power car with low angle, good, it makes just like everything else easier.
Oh yeah.
And like I want to be like the drivers that I look up to, Mike, Matt Panic, dudes that are like to me is way more exciting to watch a car with 150 to 200 horsepower, doing a crazy like balls to the wall entry than some car that's making 400 horsepower that's like looks crazy, but it's actually going maybe slower than the slower car.
Yeah.
So
momentum drifting is neat.
Exactly. And I like love the idea of that. So I think I'll leave it pretty stock. I definitely want to finish like, because I repainted my car recently and did a whole bunch of body work. My shout out to my girlfriend. She did all of the body work on the car, and it's like now probably the straightest 1990 Miata you will ever see. And she hammered out there's like no Bondo on the car. It's beautiful.
That's awesome.
We have some paint correction work to do on it. I got to get some skirts on it because the skirts that I got suck ass. Shout out JP Fiberglass. But yeah, and then I mean, I'd like to come up with some sort of a livery or something cool to do on there, but like super subtle. Like I have some ideas in mind. I have a roof wing at home that I got to do on the hard top, and I'd like to design a sheet metal drag wing and like figure out how to make that look cool, and gotta get a new exhaust tip. But as far as like performance mods go, I think once I max out the capabilities with the the diff and everything like that, I just need to get like knuckles really, and then I think I'm gonna be set for honestly a while. Like once I get too much past that, like at some point power is like really the limiting factor, because there's just certain turns at US Air that I can't get between without manching. So I mean I just try to straighten out and go into the next one faster. But it would be nice to have another, like, I don't even want that much more power. I mean, the car is like basically stock. If I made 150 horsepower, I'd be like stoked.
Right.
And a little turbo kit can easily make close to 200.
Oh yeah, they're good.
So
they're good.
We'll see if I go that route, but at the same time, if it gets to that point, like, it's an important car to me too, from a sentimental point. So like at that point, if I'm feeling like I need to like have more, I think I'd rather get into a different chassis and sort of like say that as a 6th Street car. And I can also drive up to the track for events and do some drifting in and drive home and like maybe get some like chill homey tandem runs that are not like killing each other sort of thing. 'Cause I don't want to put a cage in that. I don't want to put door bars in it. I want full interior. Like, it has a lot of memories for me, and like I don't want to turn it full race car.
Yeah, you want to ruin it.
Yeah.
No, I don't ruin it.
So I just want to make it like, you know, as much wolf in sheep's clothing without like steroids, if that makes sense. You know, doesn't need any crazy power. I'd love to do an ITB setup on it or something like that, you know, where I'm getting a little more oomph out of it. You know, it sucks because it's like a whole project to do ITBs, and the reward isn't really worth it, but the car sounds cooler than everything else, so it kind of is. And for me, like the visceralness of the sound, I think like you feel like you're driving faster, and that's half of the fun anyways. So maybe we'll do ITBs because that's cool, and like you can go show up to a car show with ITBs and people are like, what are those? Yeah. And then you can be like, oh, well, let me hear you. Yeah.
That's so funny. You're moving forward. Yep. You just started drifting just a little bit ago. You did absolutely amazing. Now you're bit.
Yeah. Big time.
You're also a amazing photographer. You do video stuff. You also dabble in everything else. I feel like you just touch so much other stuff.
I'm just like ADD, but like got to be productive, I guess. You know, like getting a little bit into jewelry. A little bit, which is like weird. I'm not a jewelry person, but
you're a designer, and you appreciate I think artistry.
Yeah, for sure.
So again, we talked about the jewelry, which was sick.
I don't know if we did.
We did a little bit on the pod. Yeah. But let's plug that really quick again.
Silver Spoke Works. Check it out.
Yep.
Me and Nico from Auto Real Dream.
Yep.
Working on some really cool automotive related bling if you're into that stuff. So check it out. We just got a whole new line of stuff out. There's like 12 different rings. You probably got your favorite wheel in there.
Yeah.
If you're into Euro stuff, we're hitting that hard next. So
I could see that doing well because the Europeans like to flex a little.
Bro, when we make a Porsche ring, bro, they're gonna rip. Yeah.
I'll rock that. I don't wear rings, but I'll rock it. No, that's cool. And then we talked about your CNC, like your CAD design stuff, which is basically 3D design and all that fun stuff. You're an Assetto player. You dabble in a lot of stuff, and I feel like that's like all of us that have what I call who are creatives.
Yeah.
I give that term. You're just a creative. Yeah. We all have very similar.
Dude, I have too many hobbies.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we do.
We didn't even touch the yo-yos.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's coming. That's coming because that was like one of my big. I wanted to end on yo-yos.
Gosh. We can save it.
But no, I think it's really cool that us creatives find all these different outlets, but we're also not afraid to try things. Now, I've gotten yelled at personally because people are always like, you do too much. You need to just focus. My mom always used to say the same thing, but she was always supportive.
Yeah.
So, but she would like, you just try everything, and it's just, I think it's like it's an addiction to the arts. It's an addiction to expression. It's an addiction to all of that we know.
Yeah.
And it's cool, and I can see it in you. I see a lot of the same of other friends that are creative in you and in myself, and it's really, really cool. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
I feel like we've had some pretty good conversations already.
For sure.
We've already had our ADHD style talks of, doing this and that. When we had the 2-hour long, we're talking about. I don't want to talk about it on here, but we've had talks of things because who knows if anything comes to fruition, and it's like, surprise, look how cool this is.
Yeah.
But it's really neat, and I'm stoked to get you on the pod in an individual way because one, we know you on the podcast, of course, as the correspondent in the field, and we know you as the amazing photographer and stuff like that. But it was cool that you gave us a glimpse of your life here where you live, which is awesome. Like this is definitely we were planning on doing like I brought a whole studio setup to do an actual condenser mic, mixer, dual monitors, dual 1080 webcams, set up to do a podcast. And I honestly think, that's cool. This was way cooler. One, as a creative, I got to play with new gear that I've never used. So this is exciting.
Me too.
And and you can see that we're not on that gear anymore because I learned not to shoot in 4K 60 and have a bigger card or bring another SD card, which I did not do. It's at the house. But
Just tell them you're trying to combine formats, Dave.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm testing. I'm testing things.
Multi-formatting.
Right.
You know?
Yep. This is the test. So we're on my phone now, but it still works. And but at the same time, it's gonna be cool because when I go to edit this, I get to play around with different audio formats to try to match it and stuff,
Yep.
or I can just let it be raw as long as it sounds good. But either way, I'm glad we got to dive into your life. You got to show us the workshop, which is really sick, and we desecrated graves.
Yeah, literally.
So I'm really stoked. Like this has been amazing. Now I want to get into. So we got your cars, we got your photography, and I didn't want to dive into photography too much because honestly, not to glance over it so fast.
Yeah.
But I love that we've had you on so many times. We go over
I
your
know,
photos
yeah.
every single time, and I can do nothing but praise it because it's so. And everybody loves it, so they know. And if you don't know, you will after this podcast. So I know photography is like a big deal to you,
Yeah.
but I also want to just know you.
Yeah,
You know.
it's a lot of things outside of that for sure.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the next thing, and I yo-yos is last, but I do want to know what else is Mack. Currently, you got your hobbies.
Yeah.
What else makes up Mack?
I mean, honestly, like disc golf is a really big part of my life too. I showed you my crazy
You
disc
did.
golf collection. It's
You did.
like absurd. But I picked that up when I was in college too.
Okay.
The apartment complex I lived in was like, I could 150-foot walk on that hole one of a disc golf course. And I just like, get done with class, go pack a bowl, walk over to the disc golf course, and I could do it in 45 minutes by myself, and just
Right.
go for it, like decompress. And I really
Okay.
found a lot of like peace in doing that, and it gave me an excuse to, like I told you, it's like hiking with a purpose. You go out to all these beautiful parks, see new scenery, like,
Yeah.
and it also is like a mental game, right? Like, because no two people are throwing the disc the same way. So you have, and you're not playing against other people. Like golf is one of those things where it seems like you're playing against other people,
Okay.
but golf, you're playing against the course. If
Right.
you fuck up, you fuck up. It is
Right.
not the result of the other person. Maybe if somebody like yells when you're in
Yeah.
your swing
No,
or something,
sure.
obviously there's
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But generally speaking, it's you versus the course, and I like that. It's like skateboarding; it's an individual thing. I'm responsible for my own fate in that, and it's like a puzzle trying to figure out how to bring the whole thing together. And I've made a ton of friends through the community. I ran a league out here for like 5 years, so I can pretty much go to any course within an hour of here and run into like 5 to 10 people that know who I am. I've actually like. In most of these courses, you will find people wearing apparel that I've designed.
Oh, look
Like,
at that. That's cool.
One of my friends has 2 freaking tattoos of disc golf artwork that I've done
No
for
way.
apparel
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a trip. So yeah, there's a local company, and I've done a ton of successful apparel designs for them. So I've designed colorway for a 2-time world champion disc golfer. I've helped with a couple of other product designs in the disc golf world. So
Seems like whatever you touch, this is also reminds me of myself. You just go all in.
yeah,
Yeah. And I feel like, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of people, they're missing that. They go into something and they get a little taste of it, and then they're either satisfied or they're intimidated,
yeah,
or they don't give it their all.
yeah.
And I mean, I get ragged on for doing that, but I feel like it's you can't be disappointed
Yeah.
if you give it your all, and even if you change your mind or you fail at it, because you're beating the norm, which don't even like really try.
Dude,
I don't know.
It's like when people tell you that they can't draw. That shit pisses me off.
Oh,
so
100%.
much.
Yep.
I'm like, you can't draw because you don't draw.
Yes. Yeah. My tattoo.
Like-
One of my tattoo artists was picked up as an apprentice as stick figures were pretty much that's as far as he got. and now he's an award-winning tattoo artist.
It's all about practice and repetition.
Yeah.
If you want to get good at something, put in the time and work to do it. Rome wasn't built in a day.
No.
You know, like
Yeah.
you can do whatever. You know, if you're interested in it enough, you'll figure out how to make it work. I
Right.
don't know, you know. So
Yeah. And when I say give it your all, I mean, and we're not going to show this, but Mack has a room in his house that is floor to ceiling disc golfs, whatever they're called. What would you
Discs.
call it? Discs.
golf discs.
Golf discs. And they're displayed like art, and they're packed, and they're organized, and it is absolutely
museum
it's
almost.
like and it I don't know, it kind of resonated with me because I felt myself in your passion. And I think that's another thing that art is like-minded individuals can attach to. If I see somebody that's doing something, even I don't play disc golf, but as soon as I saw that, I felt comfortable, and I was like fucking excited for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's like you saw the other, like I'm just a collector of things in general. I just like stuff, you know?
Yeah.
You saw the skateboards.
The
that I have
skateboards
in
are
my
awesome.
house
Yeah.
And stuff. It's like, I don't know. I just like stuff that's cool to me and like getting into it. And usually if it's cool and it's worth getting into, there's other people that are cool that are a part of it as well. And then you make great friends. Like all of my best friends that I have are like people I've made through all of these interests and like obscure things that I've gotten into. Which is
This dumb shit that we do.
Dude, for
it's
real.
dumb as shit.
Yeah.
But some of the best people.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
for real.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
What else is Mac? I mean, that's deep already. You got some stuff.
Yeah,
You're into some stuff.
I feel like we're pretty much like got it all for the most part.
There's no secret other hobbies. Are you a reader?
Really?
Are you
No,
a
I do
cinema?
not. I don't like reading that much. That's just because my eyes are fucked up. Like I was telling Damien, I can see like 3 inches in front of my eye on one side and like 5 on the other. It's terrible. I mean, disc golf, like prior to, especially this year and even last year a little bit. I mean, I'd play disc golf like 3 or 4 days a week. So I'm like, that takes up a lot of time. I'm usually working here 10 hours a day, 4 or 5 days a week, you know, so this place takes up a lot of time, and then disc golf takes up a lot of time, then you add the photography on top of that, then it takes up a lot of time, and then miscellaneous design work in between for if I'm doing new stickers for myself or a t-shirt or helping somebody else with a design project or helping one of my siblings out with whatever they're working on.
Right.
And whatever. If somebody asks me for help on something, like I have a really hard time saying no, and I also like don't like asking people for money on stuff, which is like a critical flaw because like I don't know, sometimes I feel like I have imposter syndrome. Like why does somebody even come to me for this shit? But like I just want to do it because I feel like I can like help them do it better than they could do it on their own.
Yeah.
And I just want them to have success with what they're doing.
Well, you have a big heart. I mean, I can tell.
Yeah.
You're very nice.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that's like pretty much it. Like skateboarding, disc golf, cars, just like sums up. I feel like a good solid chunk of my life. I like music a lot. I like playing the guitar and stuff, and just listening.
Yeah, we nerded out with some music. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you put me on to some cool things.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Music is also another thing that's just like, it's fun to share.
Yeah.
Just like photos, just like videos.
Yeah.
Music is amazing.
Yeah.
You can touch each other, in that funny space of the mind of like tickle some areas that I love music. It's raw emotion. So then I guess that's going to bring us up to what I think everybody wants to know.
Yeah, I guess.
And that is, where did the yo-yo come from?
Dude,
when did it start? And how many have you made?
How many have I made?
I instantly was like, he better have some fucking sick wooden ones that he made.
Well, I haven't made any. I take that back. I did make one out of wood as a prototype for somebody else.
Perfect.
But I kind of figured out how to make it on the CNC machine. Yo-yos are hard because they are small and they look simple, but they are very precision machine They require a lot of balance
Yeah, I couldn't
because they're
imagine.
spinning 20,000 plus RPMs, right? If you get it off a little bit of balance, it doesn't work right. And I don't have a lathe or anything like that at home, so I'm not really making them myself, but it's kind of like disc golf stuff. Yo-yos, there is a whole side collector market for the things because a lot of them are produced very small batch. Small company that may only exist for a year or two, certain hand done anodized colorways, this, that, and the other thing. But I think I got into it first, but it was before I moved to Woodstock. I had a friend that was getting into it, and maybe some of you guys remember this. This would have been around like 2003, maybe. There was a yo-yo that came out called the Fast 201 by this company called Yo-Yo Factory, and they were sold in Walmart, Target, like all the big box stores. They had this thing called the Fast Challenge, and it was like a list of 10 tricks, and the thing was like, do the sequence of 10 tricks as fast as you can, and we have a big competition for it, blah, 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 blah. I never got really that into that, but I had a friend that got the yo-yo, and he thought it was cool, and then he gave me it before I moved, because he's like one of my best friends, and then I had that, and I was at the skate park one day, and there was a dude there that was like mind-blowingly good. Unbeknownst to me, he was like at the time one of the top players in the world. And then I met another guy who was even better and more well-respected, and like these dudes both live in my town, and they're at the same skate park as me. And I got to
And they're
know
just
them.
yo-yoing.
Dude, yeah, they're like yo-yoing skateboarders. This one dude had like this fucking spiky hair and Jinko jeans and shit, you know, worked at Menards, dude. And it is crazy. And then now he's like some MMA fighter or something.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's
dude,
great.
it's like crazy.
Yeah.
And
Now he sells cotton candy down at the local. No.
dude, who knows?
That's
I wouldn't
funny.
be surprised. And you know, that's when I like started buying some of my own. And then I made another friend who is like a multiple time top 5 yo-yoer in his division. Like there's 5 different ways, generally speaking, that's popularly known that you can play with a yo-yo. 5 different disciplines.
Okay.
Right? You've got
This is blowing my mind.
you've got 1A, which is your typical string tricks, like you know, when you see me doing the stuff that I was doing, that's 1A.
Gotcha.
2A is two-handed looping. When you see somebody like shooting it out,
Yeah.
it's 2A. 3A is crazy. 3A is two-handed string tricks. You have 2 yo-yos, and you're doing the crazy shit that I was doing, but you're like doing it like mirror images, and sometimes, and that is like, I can't comprehend that. That is like a not waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And there's 4A, which is where the yo-yo is not attached to the string.
Explain.
Similar to like a Diablo, like have you ever seen like the Diablo sticks? It's kind of like that, except for you can wind the string around the yo-yo without it being attached, and you can throw it up in the air, catch the yo-yo back on the string, and like do stuff with the yo-yo, like you pop it off the string and catch it, and like do all this crazy stuff. And then there's 5A, which is where the yo-yo is attached to the string, but the string is not attached to your hand.
What the fuck?
There's a counterweight attached to the end of the string, so you can let go of the yo-yo and the string and do all of this different stuff and let the string swing around and like do all of this crazy stuff. So
Never knew. Never
one
knew.
of my good friends growing up was a 4A off string, like top tier. This dude made it to the final round of America's Got Talent in like
no
2008 or something like that. He was in Vegas. He had the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was like crazy. So then when I graduated high school, my like graduation present was I got to go to my parents got me a trip to Orlando to go to the World Yo-Yo Contest in 2010. It was super sick, and you know, I met a lot of people there. I was just about to go to college, and while I was there, I met this dude, Seth Peterson, which, I mean, who knows if he'll ever see this, but he was a good friend and incredibly influential in the space, like kind of an art guy. He had this brand where they would make these cool videos and like put out cool limited edition colorways with all these different companies and stuff. And he's from Iowa. So I moved to Iowa, and I had a yo-yo friend. He would come down from Des Moines, and we'd like have these little yo-yo meets at school, and like it was just like awesome. And I've, you know, made a lot of friends. And for me, it's something that I can do. Like, I don't do it as much as I should anymore. It's been like a long time since I've just picked it up to do it, but it's like a good stress release. Like, you just take your mind off something, like pick it up for 30 seconds. Good. It's really good for your hand-eye coordination and stuff.
Right.
And that translates into art and stuff as well. Just being able to know what you're doing with your hands at any given time is really important. Music, etc., etc. But yeah, you know, I like the engineering side of yo-yos and how many different ones there are. And like, you know, people are doing bimetals where they're combining different materials into one yo-yo. I have yo-yos that they have bearings mounted to the side so you can hold the things while they're spinning. Like, there's all sorts of crazy technologies that are involved. And the anodizing side of things is really cool. I have a yo-yo at home that I anodize myself. That's pretty cool in its own colorway.
Anodizing's hard.
So the shop that I worked at in Santa Barbara was aluminum machine shop, but they had in-house anodizing, and it was hand anodizing. The company had been around for so long, they were grandfathered in because it's like super illegal to do now for environmental reasons. So they've been around since the very early 1900s doing hand anodizing in-house. And they basically have different dye tanks. And to get all the different colors, it's just a matter of this many seconds in this color, this many seconds in this color, this many seconds in this color, in this order. And you end up with
Easter eggs. You're Easter egging it.
They had a screen printing shop in there too, so they could anodize something one color and not seal it, bring it into the screen printing shop, screen a mask over it, bring it back out to the anodizing tanks, put it in another color, and it's somewhat akin to doing like a crazy lowrider kind of paint job where you're just building up these masking layers, and then you wipe them all off before you seal it, and then you have all of these different colors coming through in the order that you did it. And
well, that's neat.
You can end up with some really cool stuff that way. So learned some interesting stuff through that, and it's like all weird how it kind of like ties itself together. But I remember at the World Yo-Yo Contest, there was a Star Wars convention going on in the same hotel, dude. It was such a fucking trip, dude. In an elevator full of stormtroopers to walk into a ballroom full of yo-yoers. Like, what the fuck is going on right now?
That's amazing.
So it was it was definitely a crazy adventure, but you know, I usually have one with me if I'm at the airport or something.
Hell yeah.
It's a pretty easy way to entertain yourself. It's also a really easy way to entertain other people's children, I have found. Because usually I'll be, like, in a corner by myself, and then, like, I'll look around, and there's, like, some, like, 4-year-old just going...
Yeah. Oh, like, blowing his mind.
And then, like, the mom looks over at me, and they're like, thank you.
Oh.
Like, great, now I'm like roped into this.
Right, now I'm your stepdad. All right, kid, let's go.
I haven't seen you in a few years.
Oh, shit. No way. I mean, that's just really, it was, honestly, I think every now and then I still get messages about you on the Rio's rando dumpster fire video, because now I knew you were a yo-yoer. You sent me the video beforehand, and I loved it, and I was like, no fucking way. But I didn't know that's what you were going to do, jumping on. But I had an idea, and just so many people were like, what? And it's neat. It's super cool. Again, it's another style of just expression. Yeah. It's so cool. It's so beautiful, man.
And then like that, when I got into college, like, I'm like, well, how the fuck am I going to make friends with people? So, of course, I joined the juggling and unicycling club.
That makes sense.
Like, well, where might some like-minded people be?
Right.
Like, yeah. Like-minded people I want to hang out with. Then I became the treasurer of the juggling and unicycling club for 3 years.
Oh, my God, Mac.
I can't unicycle. I tried on multiple occasions, but I can juggle clubs and stuff. Yeah. Like, I'm not good at doing, like, crazy, like, ball tricks and stuff like that, but we would do big, like, patterns where we've got 10 people involved passing clubs around with each other and, like, juggling flaming stuff and swords.
Jeez.
And, like, I went to a massive juggling festival and stuff like that, too.
As long as it's not a juggalo festival. You know what I mean?
Dude, juggling juggalos? Say that 10 times fast.
So basically you're a carny. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a natural born carny.
Something like that.
So what do we expect if we ever get you on Rio's Rando again?
Shit, you know what I didn't do this weekend? Didn't knock a pack of cigarettes off of James's head.
Nope. Oh, you should have done that. And you should have used that. I don't know if you've ever seen the yo-yo that as it unwinds, the blades slowly come out.
Oh, yeah.
But when it's in your palm, it's not bladed. But
definitely.
fucking awesome.
It's crazy. I'm pretty sure the World Championships that I was at, they premiered like the movie that shit's like based off of. It's like a girl like superhero with like,
Oh, that's so funny.
killer yo-yo.
Yeah.
Some Japanese like crazy shit.
Oh, I love that.
Real
No
world
shit.
anime kind of thing. Yeah, it was wild.
No shit.
Yeah.
Side note, because I just thought of it, I do want to ask one other thing.
Okay.
And then we're gonna end this.
Okay.
This is gonna be a good one. We got a long pod.
It's gonna be a long one.
That's good. That's what gets the people going.
Yeah.
You're into Gundams too.
Dude.
So
I guess so. That is another thing.
You're into Gundams. So
Bro, it goes back to my grandma with the cameras too.
cool.
Get to their house, and I think that was my first experience with a Gundam. I don't even know, like, because if any of you guys have ever watched the original Gundam movies, that shit is brutal as fuck and not for children. But I think that we were at, like, I don't know, in the mall in one of those Japanese stores, and I saw it, and it was like something where in my grandparents' house, they live in rural Indiana. It's like not that much to do. Give the kid a model kit to keep himself busy for a while. Snap together, and I like remember, exactly what my first kit was. Totally, is Death Scythe. I was like hyped up on it and stuff. And I just rebuilt one of them recently because I have no idea what happened to my first one, and it was like so nostalgic. But like when I was in Japan, getting to see like the 2 life-size Gundams was like, so crazy. Like I always, as a kid in like elementary school, was like, damn, one day I'm gonna get dropped off at school in a Gundam, and it's gonna be sick. All my friends are gonna be like, whoa.
Yeah, or dead. No.
Or dead. Yeah. But yeah, Gundams are awesome, and I definitely do like. Yeah, I guess model making is like another core attribute of things that I like to do. That's what I do in the winter time a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
Dude, when we get back to the house, I'm gonna open a closet door for you. That's gonna be kind of mind blowing of models that are not built.
Mack, and we're never gonna disclose where you live or whatever, but Mack has a house that there's surprise doors, and behind surprise doors are some cool surprises.
Dude,
and I like it. I like it so far.
Yeah.
So, not surprised that you have another door to open to show me models.
Dude, I'll actually show you. I have a scale version of my dream drift car.
Oh, that's cool.
Built. So I'll have to show you that when I get back.
That's wild.
Yeah.
No shit. Well, this has been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a new format going forward. I'm going to see how it turns out, but I'm already really excited.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not prepared. We did this all on literally just like
It's a whim.
Oh yeah, big time.
Big whim.
Big time. And regardless, it's still going to turn out awesome, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And even if it doesn't, we just make it work, and people still seem to dig them. So fuck it. But I think this is going to be a really cool, newish format.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would like to be able to I'm unprepared. We could have sat on the couch over here and both been in picture and stuff, but realistically, this is fun. This is cool.
Yeah.
And I really like the walking around and getting this is something that we may see on the podcast in the future with other guests. So you're the first one.
I want to learn more about my friends and see what they're into and stuff, and learn more about people I don't know and make new friends.
Yep. And I think it's really cool to see like what people like on a daily, like what their life's like what's their town like, what are they, you know what I mean, like stuff like that. Like I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But either way, it's been an absolute blast. And this is my second day. You're graciously putting me up and allowing me to stay and on this trip that is pretty anxiety provoking, but you've made it less of an anxiety provoking experience. So I thank you for that. But also just being a massive part of the Pilot Podcast. We appreciate you, and it's cool to have such I don't know. I just feel like the team is like it's a good team.
Yeah.
Like it's like good people, you know, like-minded with similar stuff, but also so very different. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it very diverse and good. Yeah. So we appreciate everything you've done immensely. Immensely.
That works. It's late.
Yeah, it is late. I'm so fucking full. Mac took me to a really good place, and I had the best cheese curds
Damn right. Ruby Owl, Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Yeah, so he got me the best, and I'll go on record and say so far of what I've ever had, they are definitely the best.
Damn, you heard it here first.
Dun dun dun. But yeah, man, I want to say thanks for everything that you do. I hope that in the future, as hopefully this progresses, and we'll be taking you with on all the cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's my goal, is to grow this to the point that we're doing cool stuff together, and it's just good friends hanging out and doing fucking cool shit.
Why not? The only difference between the people that are doing it and the people that aren't is the people that are doing it.
Yeah, there you go.
Like we talked about, we just got to do it.
Just got to do it.
We're gonna be out here,
Yeah.
Big thanks to you guys too, because if I hadn't gotten on that first podcast before Vibes last year, like my Vibes experience wouldn't have been the same probably.
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know, it's like crazy. Look at what's happened.
It's a snowball effect. It's
sure.
neat. Yeah, it's a super cool snowball effect, and I'm seeing it with Rio now too. Yeah. So bringing Rio on board with the stuff, it's different doors open. We get different perspectives of things. He's another one that's a massive help to this, and it's like, we're not getting paid to do this. We're doing this for entertainment. For you guys. Yeah, literally for entertainment purposes for the community. Yeah. So, and if it inspires, that's what we want. We want inspiration. We want any help. Yeah. So, no, this is really cool. I think the only other thing I really need from you is, do you got shout outs?
Yeah, I mean, I got to shout out for sure my girlfriend, for Caitlin, for putting up with a lot of this crap. It keeps me very busy and away from home a lot, but I appreciate her immensely for, sticking by me and being supportive of it all, and my family too, for sure. Like, they're all super important to me, and then, like, obviously you guys and all of my drifting family, Club FR, like US Air, Michael's doing a great job out there. Shout out Michael at US Air for kind of helping to try to elevate the track and make it better and better. And Simba and Club FR and Phil and all of you guys and everybody associated with Final Bout, Ilya, all of those guys. Like, this year has been absolutely insane. I wouldn't be able to do that without all of the people involved. Shout out Matt and Mark Panic. You guys are awesome, and for having me out on the West Coast. I mean, just everything. This year has been insane. Shout out Alec and Leah for going on the world tour with me, and like, that shit's crazy that somehow we coordinated all of that and did all of that as a group. So
can't wait to get into that too. That's going to be
wild. So yeah, shout out everybody that's been a supporter. If you've given me a high five at an event and said that you like my work, or that it's inspired you to do something, I feel like most of the feedback that I get, it comes from a lot of media people, and I really appreciate that, because it means more to me to have a media person say that the stuff that I'm doing is crazy than some normal person, because they can kind of like comprehend what's going on a little bit.
Yeah, the normies don't get it. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty much. Like, I've told this to Caitlin, and I was like, if I could have a goal in all of this, it's probably, I want to be your favorite media person's favorite media person.
Aww.
Yeah.
Because that is a thing.
Yeah.
I've witnessed that over this last weekend, of other media going up to another media and being like, well, you inspired me to pick up the fucking camera, and that was really cool and wild to see.
Yeah.
So
it's like, growing up in skateboarding, like, you always have like the favorite skater's favorite skater, and that's always the dude that everybody's like, oh my god, they're so fucking sick. Like, they don't need the affirmation or whatever, but like, they're like, everybody's always like, what are they doing? What are they gonna be doing next, sort of thing. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll get there, but until then, I'm just gonna keep snapping some pics, shooting some vids.
Hell yeah.
Doing some weird stuff. I need to get a little bit more controversial, I think.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe make some new 3-spoke wheels or something. It's been a while. Maybe machine some real wheels.
Yeah.
I have the technology, you know.
Triple exposure with a genital in there somewhere, you know?
You know, maybe it's happened already and you just haven't seen it.
Oh, that would be the best thing. Oh my God. Can you please, in the next year, can you please hide something super vulgar and the first person that finds it gets something cool? But it has to be like perfectly hidden.
I'll try to remember, but yeah, maybe Jan 1 if you're paying attention after the 1st of next year. Maybe I'll do something crazy.
Yeah.
Like 69th day of the year.
Whole year, you know what I mean? Something
dude. Yeah.
where somebody has to go back and figure this out. I love it.
Butthole eclipse, baby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Or it's like the center cap, you know?
Oh my God. Total eclipse of the butt.
Oh, I love it. All right, Mac. Well, it's getting late. You have work tomorrow.
I got to get back here and...
Let's not talk
7
about
hours.
it. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. This is, you know...
This is my last night with you.
Yeah, I know. This is more important anyways.
Oh,
I was at work an hour late today anyways.
I'm telling the cops. All right. Well, man, then I guess that's going to be it.
Yeah.
I'm going to sign us off here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do I need to sign off? Hey, it's me. I'm here. Is it even looking at me? I'm so fucking tired.
There you go.
Well, see you later, everybody. Till next time. And I'll fade out. I'll just fade out with my eyes.